everyone. I'm assuming you're listening to this in the morning. Why would you do it afternoon? That would be odd. Why would you do it GMT time 1800? Am I right, Conor? Conor Lestoke is here. This is 372 pages. We'll never get back. I'm Mike Nelson.
I'm Conor, and that's going to come up later. If you didn't flag it, I sure as hell did.
Oh,
time zones, baby.
It's going to come up. I told you about my nephew. He was in Iceland, GMT 0. He was like, I'm so happy. He's in the military, so I don't have to do any calculations, he said. I was like, yeah, baby.
He's going out and buying a $22 beer and a steak that costs $78. He's like, worth it. This is worth it to just not have to do calculations that no one else is doing either because they use a real time zone. So,
what time am I eating, Carl? This time, 0 GMT. Anyway, this is the podcast where we read books we do not expect to like. It's a very roundabout way of saying we read bad books. But that's not always the case. Sometimes we like the book, even if it's bad. Tend to be of lower quality, though, as we look at our oeuvre.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not many in there that you'd go, yeah, I can stand behind that 100%.
And the deck is stacked against a book when we've read books by the author before and did not like them. And then we're not going to be like, wow, he really nailed it this time, even though he uses the exact same bag of tricks, exact same quirks. But Dan Brown really knocked this one out of the park where Digital Fortress fell flat.
This one is Deception Point, right?
Deception Point, yes. Or as we found out, I posted a picture to social media just of various Deception Point book covers. It was sort of a gallery maybe of international covers. And in some market, I never bothered to find out which one it is. The book is just called Meteor.
Nice.
Not Meteor like, Pizza Hut's new pizza is 50% meatier than our last one. Meteor. Meteor.
That is a tough one to say. Almost not as tough as I believe the children are our future, but you can go back and listen to a previous podcast to hear my take on that one. Anyway, I wanted to start this off because this is Deception Point is a long book. Dan Brown sat down and he just started typing and he did not stop. And the editor went, I don't have time to keep up. Just keep going. So he kept writing. So this is one of our longest books, but we didn't want to spend a lot of time on it. So we committed to doing long readings. And I assume you're all reading along, so you're also doing these long readings, which leads me to my quiz.
All right.
You obviously know how many words we read this time because you assigned it.
Yep, it's probably 33,000, I would guess. The whole book is
35,565.
Okay, wow.
A long read. So now I'm just going to run these down. Little quiz for you, little tit for tat, because I have to do another real or fanfic. So let's do a quiz for you.
All right.
A simple list of books, longer or shorter than today's reading.
Wow.
Are you ready? Books, longer or shorter than today's reading. We'll start out with Kafka's Metamorphosis.
Shorter.
Yes, that is correct. I gave you an easy one to start with. Virginia Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway.
That sounds long.
That is longer. That is correct. George Orwell's Animal Farm.
Shorter.
That is correct. Thomas Pynchon's The Crying of Lot 49.
Shorter.
That is longer at 45,000 words. Ayn Rand's Anthem.
Wow. This has to be a trick question, but I'm still going to say longer.
Shorter by quite a bit.
Oh, man.
Hemingway's The Old Man and the Sea.
Shorter.
That is correct.
Okay. If that one wasn't shorter, his sentences are so short.
Yes.
Dan Brown could learn something from him.
The man lit a fire. The man smoked a cigarette. C.S. Lewis, The Screwtape Letters.
Oh, brother. Oh, shorter.
I'm going to give you that one because it's a technicality often published together with Screwtape Proposes a Toast, bringing it to 52,000, which is longer. They're considered one book, though technically 25,000 is shorter. the original Screw Tape letters. But,
Screw Tape Proposes a Toast sounds like one of those, for a while they would do like Roger Rabbit shorts at the beginning of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids or something. It's, Screw Tape Proposes a Short, and it's just an old-timey silent film.
Yes. All right, last one. Tolstoy's The Death of Ivan Ilyich.
Again, is it a trick question like Ayn Rand? I have to say longer.
That is shorter by a little bit.
Wow. I didn't know those two could
Tolstoy reined it in and wrote, that's a great book, by the way. I love that book. I think I've read, I haven't read The Crying. Nobody's read The Crying of Lot 49.
I did. That's the only one of his I've read. We read it in an English class in college, and I liked it. He was a cool professor. I liked that. Yeah, right. Oedipus. I put an Oedipus joke in an early riff tracks to, see who little signifier to all the other pension heads out there.
Wow. That's the only one I haven't read on that list. Okay.
Wow. You've read the Ayn Rand one?
Well, sure. I mean, it's sitting around on bus seats. You just pick it up and read it.
That was a great one of the nice things about the 2020 everyone doing stuff on Zoom era was when you could just spot the various fountainheads in people's backdrops on their Zoom interviews. So you're like, really? Former like Lions coach Herman, whatever that guy. He has that fountainhead in his back. Wow.
I started reading Ayn Rand after I started listening to Rush.
Of course.
So they're big. Well,
yes, gateway. Yeah.
Anyway, all right. We have a lot to get through today. A ton, like I said, 35,565 words. So do you want to bring us up to date on the plot so far?
Oh, man. Well, the old man has caught a fish, and he's hauling it back to the shore. But
the shark keeps attacking. Yes.
We'll get to those. But there is a meteor in Canadian Arctic Circle territory, and they believe the NASA has gone public with the fact that this meteor is proof of extraterrestrial life. To sell this to the world, they've enlisted Rachel Sexton, professional hot gister, who has come up there to validate this findings to the president's cabinet. They've also enlisted Michael Toland, a ruggedly handsome TV scientist who is there to produce a documentary about the meteor. There's also a couple other central casting scientists who are doing this. But this is not just a monumental announcement because of the obvious implications. It also will directly affect the presidential race, which involves Rachel's father, a Senator Sexton Sedgewick. Damn it.
Sedgewick
Sexton.
Yes.
I just know so many people named Sexton as a first name that it's hard for me to wrap my head around.
Sure, we all do. We all our circle of friends.
Like, Sexton, are you talking to my Sexton?
Yeah, you go to a park.
No, my son is also named Sexton.
Yeah.
And so he is the running against her boss, who is the current president, on a strong anti-NASA platform. That is his populist message that is really connected with the voters. We're going to trim 0.03% of the federal budget that is NASA, and this will then make your lives that much better. And so this announcement threatens his campaign of her father, and that's sort of why the president he's tricked the senator into like going on TV saying, if NASA ever finds extraterrestrial life, I'll eat my hat. And there's also then a team of elite Delta Force operatives who have murdered two civilian scientists on this mission so far. They've also chased Rachel, Michael, and Corky off a cliff, and then they fell onto a glacier that is then separated in an avalanche, fell into the ocean, and when we last left them, they were being rescued by a nuclear sub that was very fortunately in the area, and like when a TV star sitcom, like, what are we going to do? And then, oh, hello, my car broke down. I'm the singer of the Bare Naked Ladies. It's like, what? You're here? Like, would you like to do a concert? Well, I did bring my guitar. That did that, but with a nuclear sub that was next to them.
Yes.
And so they've been rescued by this, but people are still out to get them. And amongst all of this, we get Dan Brown's traditional Not many people knew that the nuclear sub was this thing, but it happened to be lurking in the vicinity because of a technology known as the Across, and then he explains what that acronym means. It's just very.
I think I told Bridget, I'm like, I got to read, so we can't. She asked to do something. I'm like, no, I'm in the middle of this reading. And then I was like, right now he's doing the X4000 helicopter with its twin G47 engines roared at the appropriate, and I was reading a bit of it to her, and she just like, I'm leaving. Like, yeah. I don't want to hear this.
You look back up in the reading, and she's standing there with her bags packed.
Yeah, this is clearly over. Yeah. So I was like, yep, we're deep into that territory. Everything that he describes has that, What kind of engines does it have? Oh, there it is. He's going to tell us. All right, thank you.
But the other two characters we didn't mention are Gabrielle, Sexton's extremely hot 20-something aide who has already snuck into his apartment, but she's the one who thought of NASA attacking as a campaign strategy. And then we have the exact opposite, Marjorie Tense, who is essentially the crypt keeper from Tales from the Crypt, a ghoulish, horrific woman. We haven't been told her age, but we have to assume she's old, but she smokes, she's coughing, she's threatening people, and so
she's got I picture she's like if Randy Johnson were just like stretched out. And then smoke was like a 3-packer, That's her.
The big unit, yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, so she's the president's right-hand man, right-hand woman, and she's been pulling a lot of strings behind the scenes and continues to do so in this section.
I switched off my mic. Sorry about that. That was a good summation of 64 chapters.
64 chapters, probably 70,000 words plus.
All right, so we're at chapter 65. By the way, when I don't know why I saw the guy who did this on Jackass recently on something else, but when he says, "I will eat my hat," or does he say shoe?
I think hat.
I'll eat my hat if this ever comes up. Like, I'm sure there was someone like, would you staple your balls? Yeah, okay, I'd do that.
Yeah, it's not beneath me as a senator, but sure, that's how confident I am.
Jackass people are like,
Steve-O was his name, the guy who did that. That was...
Okay.
Yeah.
I must have seen him on Masterpiece Theater or something.
Oh,
like that.
right, yes. He was doing the...
He was doing Mrs. Dalloway, I believe.
Oh, good. Glad he turned it around. He had a rough patch for a while.
Yeah.
Well, this one starts with Rachel waking up in her soaked underwear, everybody. That was a detail we were provided with. Unfortunately, it's not a sexy way of doing that. Is because she was in the Arctic Sea and caught hypothermia and is waking up on the nuclear submarine in just her underwear.
Her soaked underwear.
Soaked underwear, because they are soaking her down with lukewarm water to, I guess, restore the blood circulation in her body. And she's with Michael Toland and Corky in a trembling twist of half-naked limbs on the floor of a tiny shower room. And we do not, though, unfortunately, get a quip from half-dead Corky, who's just like, "Nice bra, lady!"
We get a lot of that coming up, so hang tight. They do say she felt like she was being burned alive, and then unattributed, I will point these out when they come because he's picked up the pace of these, "It's raining fire." We all know what it's raining, and it is not fire. It is raining men. Always raining men. Yes.
Corky's
Hallelujah.
Favorite song on a jukebox.
Yes.
Well, yeah, so that's waking up. And these chapters are brief, but you pointed out your irritation with it when they just cut to the exact same setting and the same people in the same chapter. Because the next one...
he panics and goes, chapter end? Why? We're in the same location. Nothing happened to make it, like you wouldn't believe what happened next, which he likes to do a lot. And then what happens next is like, oh, I have to wait till the chapter after this one. Then you get to it. It's like, wait. Oh, no, nothing happened. There's nothing. I will believe what happened next.
I do think, I mean, this is 2001, so it's really before the era, I think, of optimization and analytics for what people's attention spans are going to be like. But I do feel like he's dialed it in the way that a Mr. Beast thumbnail knows exactly what will get you to click on something, where it's like stranger given $1 million to eat their own poo. Like that, I feel like that's what Dan Brown did. He just knew what the word count is when he hits that new chapter, no matter whether something's happened.
Yep, and turn that page, and it has to be a certain thickness. Like we at, what's the airport bookstore that's
Hudson News.
Hudson News. Like we like them to be, 2 1/4 inches thick, and okay, I can hit that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Yeah, just increase the take a 1/4 inch off the top there, and we're good to go.
All right, yeah, let's do that. By the way, it says that when they warm her up, each movement felt like a knife being thrust into her joints. The jets of water grew hotter. The scalding was back. The crushing pain went on. I just want to bring up, I have a thing called chilblains. Have you ever heard of that?
I've not. And
when it gets cold, and then when it sort of warms up to room temperature, it feels like someone is squeezing your extremities in a vice. The pain is unimaginable. It feels like someone's smashing it with a hammer. I was once talking to a guy who was like, "Why everything you have is old timey?" And then I was like, "I gotta go in, man. I got the chilblains." He was like, "Come on!" And then he sent me an email like a couple days later. Like, I looked it up. It's real. Damn it!
Wow. Yeah, the chilblains. How does it affect your dropsy?
Yeah, my farmer's toe.
That sounds like something that I don't know if anyone will recognize this, but that the disconnect guy would have tried to solve with his buzzer back in the day.
I think when he got taken off, I believe each one of his videos had 17 views. So I doubt that anyone here knows what we're talking. They're all gone now, so you can't even look it up.
All right. So the next chapter regards them. They're still on the submarine, and they're still being attended to. I just like this. It says Toland and Corky were lying nearby, shivering in blankets as the men massaged their bodies and gave them injections as well. So there's a guy who, he grew up. He watched Hunt for Red October. He joined the Navy to serve his country. He went through basic training. He went through the obvious schooling required to become a nuclear technician sub, and then he draws Corky massaging duty. Just struck me as very funny. I do have a degree in nuclear physics, but sure, yeah, I'll massage the squat guy.
The quips pick up from Corky, so just hang tight, everyone, hang tight. But the guy who's massaging her, this is aboard the Charlotte, is that correct?
Uh-huh.
Is that the submarine? Says he knows her because of her gisting.
Yes.
So that's like Roadhouse when they I know you. You're a bouncer. How do you know bouncers by sight? You know her? Are there pictures of her next to everything you read of her gists? Like, hey, there's little avatars of her.
Yeah, and what's funny is the captain. I think the captain of this ship recognizes her, and then she goes, "Oh, so that's why I knew the name Charlotte." It's like, you've gisted enough that they know you, and then you wake up on a submarine, but you don't realize it's the submarine you've been providing your gists to. I mean, her underwear is very wet, so you can understand how that might draw your attention. It's an unpleasant sensation, but
it is soaked underpants. So 67 chapter, we finally get away from the Charlotte. We get to the White House, and I have some tench here.
Oh yeah, 100%.
A towering roadblock stepped into her path. Marjorie Tench. The senior advisor's long face grimaced down in disapproval. Then about a sentence later, Tench's cold eyes stared, and she held out a spider-like hand.
What do you think that implies?
Spiders have hands? I don't know. I mean, it implies long fingers and big
long
hands.
Fingers, yeah. Yes. But, yeah, spiders, famous for having, the most famous leg number other than 2, I would say. So a hand, also famously 5 fingers. Look, maybe there's someone out there who had 8 fingers on their hand, and they could be like, there was a guy in P.T. Barnum's posse that... All right, fine. But famously 5 fingers.
It's not the exception proves the rule. We don't have 8 fingers.
But 8 long fingers has to be implied there, I would say. So
so.
Another one in the quiver.
Spider-like hands. She's intercepting who?
Rachel has said, "Oh my God! Like we can still. It's 7:51. We can still reach the president and tell him not to do the press conference before we can save it." So they place a non-secure phone call, and someone's running through, and that's who Tench intercepts as the towering roadblock. I didn't picture Tench with a long face either. That was an interesting thing, but I guess the Crypt Keeper sort of does, just if his hair is all receded like that, so it makes his face look longer.
Randy Johnson, come on. The hair and everything.
Yeah.
The long levers. So she's trying to get her to stop the press conference, like it's a trap kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. And here's a nice unattributed Dan Brown interjection. What? There's no quotes. Is she even listening? No idea who's saying it. I mean, from context, you're like, it's probably the thought of this person. But he just starts doing it.
Yeah.
Like, people's thoughts are attributed to people. This one is just, like, on its own line. That one really irritated me.
Yeah, maybe he's gearing up for the audiobook where you want the narrator to be in every character, so you don't want to have to say Rachel thought. But that would be getting out ahead of himself, I would say.
It's like who's the? I think I brought it up before. There's who's the screenplay guy? He was hot for a while. I think he might have got canceled.
Shane Black?
No, he's
Mamet?
He's back, right? No, the red-haired guy. Anyway, he was famous for doing his screenplay readings, in a room like, this is going to be great. Like, then he's going to come in and Captain Kirk is going to walk over and he's going to be like, pow, boom, boom. And that was like in his script, reading it from his. He would just put like pow and boom and smash, and people were like, yeah, I totally picture it. Instead of throwing them out of his office, they're like, yes, let's give him millions and millions of dollars.
The system works.
Mm-hmm.
So Rachel tells Tench that multiple people are dead. Nora is dead. Dr. Ming is dead. And Tench essentially is like, I don't want to hear it, darling. And she says, whatever the reason, consider yourself relieved of your White House post as of this instant. And if you try to taint this discovery with any more absurd allegations of foul play, I assure you the White House and NASA will sue you for defamation so fast you won't have a chance to pack a suitcase before you go to jail. So a couple questions here. Is it defamation to tell about 2 people who were killed? Is it defamation to say that someone was murdered when they were murdered? And defamation, is that something you go to jail for? Or is that more of a civil matter, I would wonder?
I think it remains civil. I don't know if there is a criminal proceeding for that.
So Rachel like emerges and is like, oh my God, they tried to kill me. Look how soaking my underwear is. That's defamation. It's like, what?
Tench snapped is another thing. So Rachel just goes like, bah. Rachel's mouth was still hanging open when the captain knocked on the door.
Wow, her face must look really long.
Yeah.
So that's the basic thing. Tench being like, well, no one's gonna believe you. So, and if they do, we'll put you in jail.
I'll ruin you.
So what are they supposed to do? Just be like, yeah, Dr. Ming's wife is collecting the life insurance, but I guess we're just not allowed to talk about that.
She turns and throws a ball at a goose that just explodes. Like, see what I can do with my long levers.
That she eats what's left of it. I have to ask, was Randy Johnson on your mind because you saw him throw out the first pitch the other night?
Oh, no, he was not, actually.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, it was unattributed.
He threw out the first pitch at the first Seattle Mariners playoff game like 2 nights ago. So.
Oh, wow. Very embarrassingly, last year I was at this meeting with guys I didn't know that well, and I have a pair of blue suede boots, and it was Elvis's birthday, and this guy goes, and he starts doing pointing towards my boots. I'm like, he goes, are those? I go, yes, those are blue suede. And he goes, nice. And then I was like, I don't understand what. And everyone's like, it's Elvis's birthday. I was like, I didn't. It was a total coincidence.
It's much better that Randy Johnson is just kicking around in your head then as a.
It is.
I'm thinking of someone repulsive. A fond memory of the Hall of Famer.
Sweaty, like couldn't quite grow a beard, I guess he had a mustache.
Stringy hair. Looked as much like a Randy Johnson as you could possibly ever.
Yes.
All right, so Rachel has failed to get through to the president and disrupt his press conference, so he's going through with it. It says, in bars and living rooms all over the globe, millions leaned towards their televisions in apprehensive wonder. And then they remembered that the Browns were playing the Texans on Thursday Night Football and said, why are we watching a presidential press conference? We are Americans. This is not something that we do.
I thought that leaning towards the television is the equivalent of, I don't know if you do this, but you're getting close to a place and the directions are guiding you in and the radio's on or a podcast or something. You have to like turn it way down. Like, what's the difference?
Yeah, parallel parking, you got to turn it down.
Yeah, I've drove the whole way here 1,000 miles, but it gets to the last half mile and you're like, turn this crap off.
We got to focus. We're shifting into arrival mode.
Yeah, let me lean in to see if I could see the TV better.
And then the president finds it disconcerting that he's seeing Tench talk on the phone and give someone a thumbs up, and it emphasizes that Herney had never seen Tench give anyone a thumbs up, and this makes him very uneasy.
In Sexton's den, so he makes the announcement at this press conference. In Sexton's den, 6 entrepreneurs jumped up in wide-eyed horror. I want that. Can someone draw that? 6 entrepreneurs jumping up at the same time in wide-eyed horror.
Yeah, settle down, guys. This is, some of the richest men in the world were led to believe.
Whoa!
And there's, the fire is lit. It's the mahogany paneled room. They all have their snifters of Cavassier, and then they
giant cigars.
What? Because that's what it realizes. He has revealed it's a meteorite which contains fossils of a life form, dozens of them, unequivocal proof of extraterrestrial life. I liked that before he revealed that, Gabrielle Ash was watching this in the ABC newsroom. She closed her own eyes, praying that when she opened them, she would not be looking at images of her own naked body. So she thought that the president was going to just, hold them up on camera, like, my fellow Americans, yes, check out this smoke show. Now none of you need to go see Swordfish because I'm giving it away for free right here. So it's a little probably needless worry on her part. But after the wide-eyed horror, they pretty much they bring on the NASA guy. To say, like, oh, this is NASA's greatest triumph. And it says, as he watched, Senator Sexton fell to his knees in front of the television, his fingers clutching at his silver mane. No. God, no. So, I don't forget who went Planet of the Apes last section. Maybe it was the woman who died, who had the snow shoved down her throat. But for the second time, we got a You Maniacs situation.
I wrote another Charlton Heston moment? How many... Apparently, we'll get a couple more if, word counts hold out here. God, no!
My friend's, college friend's childhood friend, his dad was named Steve, and he had a good fall to his knees moment. He fell to his knees when he heard the news of Dale Earnhart's death. I presume he said no, God, no, as well. And my other story about him is that when I at a Halloween party and had been drinking, and the topic turned to what song would you want playing on your deathbed as you expired, And we were all just, college guys were debating it. Then we saw Steve across the room and called him over. And we said, what song would you want playing on your deathbed as you took your final breath? And without a single missed beat, he said, Garth Brooks, The River.
Wow.
So it had been on his mind. So
yeah, he had that one loaded. That was in the chamber. Wow.
Yes, it was nice. It's not on Spotify, but you should take a listen and think about that.
Wow. 69.
Nice.
Woo. High five. Tench. This was a moment that I have enhanced, so get ready for this. Tench lit a cigarette and paced the room as she waited for the operator to track down Pickering.
Okay.
And that's pretty normal, right? There's got to be
for
a way.
Thriller, sure.
There's got to be a way to hideous that up a little bit. Okay, so I wrote it out better for him. I fixed it for him. Tench clutched a cigarette in her insect-like hand, sucked in the toxic vapor with her repulsive mask of a face, and tottered around the room like a giant Lady Elaine puppet given life by an evil wizard. There, Dan, was that so hard?
Would that have won you over if Dan Brown had compared her to Lady Elaine Fairchild?
It might have pushed me towards a second look.
Yeah, this guy's not got all bad ideas.
No. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
There is a line of weird clickbait. You don't get it very often. It used to be more common, I think. But it would have a picture of Larry Bird looking sort of just like pissed off, or just like he'd locked his keys in his car. And then the headline of it to get you to click would say, "Meet Larry Bird's repulsive wife." I was just like, you got to hand it to clickbait sometimes. They pick the perfect word that made me want to know, perfect word and perfect image to just be like, he does look like he's upset about how repulsive his wife must be.
That's worth a single click, I guess. I'm not going to go deep down this one, but
so yes, Tench calls Pickering, who's the director of the NRO, Rachel's boss. I think you might remember that his nickname is, do you remember?
Pickering?
Yeah.
Oh, because he's legendary for something. I don't remember.
His nickname is the Quaker.
Okay.
It's been important that we knew that, remember? It was given two different attributions. One because he wore all black or something, and the other one, when he raged, it could start earthquakes. So that was also why they called him the Quaker. It's been an important thing that we know that, because it hasn't been referred to since then. Just like the woman at ABC News who everyone calls Mother, but no one called Mother in the entire time we spent with her. So, and so Tench is calling her... and he's pissed that he's been kept out of the loop, but she's sort of starting this smear campaign about Rachel. But he stands up for her.
Yes.
He says, I find it hard to believe someone like Rachel Sexton would have told you to postpone the president's press conference unless she had a damn good reason. Maybe you should have listened to her. And then Tench says, she scowled. What the hell did she expect? She was accusing a prominent member of Pickering's staff of treason against the president. Treason?
Treason.
The highest crime imaginable?
Death.
Punishable by death?
I think you can still hang someone, I think.
Because she essentially said, I don't think this meteor is accurate.
We have some contradictory information about it.
Yeah, the contrails, Marjorie. The contrails. and two people have been killed and people tried to kill me. Treason.
Tench heard stark amazement in his voice, combined with a tinge of acrimony, the latter no doubt on account of the man's legendary distaste for hearing breaking news at the same time as the rest of the world. Legendary.
Like
tales are told. People sit around in bars. And,
yes. Yeah. Paul Bunyan cleared this entire forest in an hour, and Hercules cleaned the Aegean stables, and this guy got really angry when he learned of breaking news a few minutes later than the president.
Listen, all you junior scouts. There's a man with a hook out there. Yeah. But no, this is even more legendary. He's got a distaste for hearing breaking news.
What? And what was the stage direction? A stark amazement in his voice combined with a tinge of acrimony. Yeah, glad that wasn't a Sonic challenge.
I almost wanted to. There's a couple coming up for you.
Okay, that would be a hard one to pull off. Yeah. A tinge of acrimony. That Wow.
Stark amazement. Whoa. That was my tinge of acrimony.
Just a tinge of acrimony.
Yeah.
And then the accusation of treason goes along with this. She says, Tench says, if she contacts you, you'd be wise to know that the White House is in possession of a video taken earlier today in which she endorsed this meteorite data in its entirety in front of the president, his cabinet, and his entire staff. So she makes it seem like there's a trump card just because Rachel went along and said, this looks legitimate to me. Michael Tolan says it's good. And then Rachel would be like, yeah. And then people murdered 2 people and tried to kill me, and I floated on an iceberg, and a military submarine had to rescue me. Some things have changed. My underwear's soaking now.
We got ice balls shot at our,
Right, ice bullets.
I had to throw a piece of Mylar up into the air and ride it at 60 miles an hour or whatever it was.
It's like, hey, Stephen A. Smith, you went on this podcast and said that Matthew Stafford was not an elite quarterback. And now last Sunday, he threw for 300 yards. So, wow, you committed treason. The situation changed, but I have this evidence of you saying something different. So, death penalty.
Yeah, this is my friend Ted, and then later Ted kills a person. Like I didn't know he was doing that in secret. That's new information to me.
Sorry, Mike, it's treason.
Treason. Yeah. You gotta die.
And she goes on to say, the White House intends to detain her for questioning before she does any serious damage. I myself wondered if the White House had that ability to the White House will detain people. They go on to do some sort of hand wave to say that, yes, the White House can do that going forward. But that's chapter 69.
Chapter 70, she goes to an anechoic chamber.
The dead room, which you have been to, correct?
I have been to an anechoic chamber before.
But that seems to be no sound can escape.
Yeah, no echoes. Anechoic, no echoes in the chamber. And there are ones on submarines, I guess, so that you can make calls. I wasn't able to check this out. I didn't. My nephew's submarine intelligence, I was going to call him, but I was like, I don't want to keep bugging him about Dan Brown stuff.
Hold on, General. I've just got to. We'll launch the missile in just a second. I just have to take a call from a moderately popular podcast host.
Yes. She goes to the anechoic chamber, the dead room. Really have to be, wow, those are super expensive and they're pretty large. Yeah, but okay,
it does seem like something that might alert the public to budget waste more than NASA might, being like, we're building what in submarines now? How often do these get used? I wonder if it's like the old screening room where we would try to watch something for riff tracks and it was never used except for as soon as we went in, 3 minutes later, someone would be like, we're going to need that screening room. We're going to need that anechoic chamber, you guys, so you can't take too long there.
Yeah, it was empty 99% of the time. Like, oh, let's just poke our heads in there and watch this. Like, oh, God. Hey, we need that room.
What was the experience like being in one, just to share with people? Because they make it seem very, very eerie and strange.
It's funny. We were there on a day when no one else was there, and so the manager was like, "Yeah, our staff is gone." So he put us in the room and he closed the anechoic chamber door and he said, "It'll be like 35 minutes." So I was in there with a small group of guys, and after a while, like you hear your own heartbeat, you hear food digesting, and the guy across the room, you hear it in his stomach because your hearing just like keeps shrinking down, like your brain accounts for it. And I've been told that if you work in an anechoic chamber, you have to take breaks every 25 minutes or something because it's so eerie.
Wow.
And also that people don't like to talk to each other in anechoic chambers because it's embarrassing because you hear everything so well. Like, yeah, I saw that new Breaking Bad. Never mind. I don't want to talk about it. Sounds weird when I say it now.
You pick up on all the tinges in their voice.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. sounds very strange, and it seems like something you probably have to experience in order to understand how truly weird it is. But it's essentially like a sensory deprivation tank for sound.
It is, yeah, and there's a weird pressure on your ears that you feel because you're always hearing echoes at all times. So when they all go away, it's like, what is this? But
cool.
It is cool.
Well, yeah, it seems like a chance to just do a scene in a cool setting versus having any actual bearing on, because they're like, well, we don't want any spies to hear this. I'm like, I don't think that there's spies on this ship that didn't know it was going to pick these people up until 30 minutes ago that are, going to be leaping into action to overhear this wet underweared woman's conversation. But whatever.
I like that we keep bringing up the fact that her underwear is wet. It remains wet. And she takes the phone call. I just noted, I don't have any notes for them. Happy to hear if you do, but chapters 70, 71, and 72 are all in the same location. They're just the phone call. That's it.
You're correct. Yes, there's no drama to cut between them at all.
No, there's nothing.
My main drama was they introduced the phrase insertion shaft, and say it about 4 times in these 3 chapters. Insertion shaft.
Is that anywhere near her soaking underpants? Or is it just trying to figure out if he's doing
Corky's
something here?
Sitting on his hands trying to submit to not do that joke. But Marjorie Tench didn't know about these other two survivors, and these guys are still going to the bat for this meteor. They're just like, Corky has a sample of it in his pocket, and he's like, absolutely, it's real. Why is someone placed it under this thing? Place it in the ice in the insertion shaft, but they're just like, it is 100% real. I guarantee it. I'm still there, and just keep a pin in that, because that certainty unravels very quickly as soon as in future chapters.
Yes, chapter 71 is mainly Corky insisting the meteorite is genuine because of the nickel, right, guys? We all know.
A nickel ratio unlike anything ever found on Earth.
Unlike anything. And the chondrules, come on.
Chondrules are little, pockets in the thing of silica, I think.
Because of the temperature at which it melts the exterior of
heating and then rapid cooling from entering.
Sure.
Or cooling and then rapid heating, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, everything hinges on them. And then Tench gets word that they are calling from the Charlotte submarine.
Yes. Do they call it here? Is it where they call it a fat submarine or something?
Oh, yeah.
They kind of insult the submarine like it's a tub or something like that. Oh, okay.
At least they tell us what it looks like as compared to Michael Toland's, weirdly shaped ship that they never elaborate on.
Well, it comes up again, and then I'm looking it up, but I don't see anything. If anyone knows what we're talking, I don't know what this is.
They gave one description of it, and I looked it up, and it looks pretty normal to me. But what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Let me just see what 72 all has to say. I'm just seeing more insertion shafts, but it says that Rachel sensed her boss was contemplating the number of people who might have access to a small military kill force. Certainly the president had access. Probably Marjorie Tench, too, as senior advisor. Tench has access to a kill force? This is something. And then she says she realized the controlling force behind the attack could have been almost anyone with high-level political clout and the right connections.
They just give you that when you get...
We've got to do something about this.
I ran a hardware store, but now I'm a congressperson. Well, You get a kill force, and you get a kill force.
But hey, I'm keeping an eye on you. Don't just be using that if, the cashier doesn't give you the right change. This is only for serious problems. They have to be insertion shaft related.
There's a guy who keeps coming in and returning his spray paint. I was thinking about using it on him. No. High-level enemies only. So they cut back. 73 is Senator Sedgewick Sexton.
Yes.
I guess it maybe is still on his knees. We don't know how long that lasts. How long do you go full Heston?
Once you've committed to it, it would be foolish to get back up and being like, well, anyone want to check the score? You got to remain there for a while if you're tearing your hair.
That's true. And he has his drinks are near him.
Yeah.
Plus, don't think for a moment when all those guys bolted out of the room. Oh, that's my. This is them. And this is a hilarious thing to imagine. His Westbrook. So they bolted out of their chair in horror, and then they dashed out his door. His Westbrook apartment had only an hour ago been filled with new friends and supporters. Now looked forsaken, scattered with the rubble of snifters and business cards, abandoned by men who had quite literally dashed out the door. Gentlemen, please.
Yes.
You run Fortune 500 companies. Like, blah?
Yeah, are they stuck in the door like the Three Stooges, like trying to be like, hey, no, I run Boeing. You get off of me, Lockheed Martin CEO.
So then Sexton's on the floor going, no! And then he looks over like, that Cavassier is worth about $35. I better.
And the business cards too. Did those just like fall out in a thing, or is that just like as he's on the ground in ruin, like a guy scrounging for tickets at the dog track, he sees, CEO of Space Inc.
He's wholly clutching them to his chest. My friends, my business friends.
Oh, I do give him props. Busta Rhymes' Past the Cavassier was like 2002, so Dan Brown was ahead of the Cavassier trend.
That's
with the
nice.
Deception Point. He's just swinging it out of the bottle though on the ground of his apartment.
I used to when I'd go to Wisconsin bars, there's always be Cavassier but it would be above the bar on a shelf, and so I would always just go like, give me a shot of that Cavassier, and the person would be like, I've never sold this before. I don't know how much it is, so I'll just put in bourbon or whatever. So you get it for like 50 cents.
Nice.
Then he'd pour like, I don't know how much to pour this. Like a little more.
Wow, rural bar hack.
Mm-hmm.
An analyst on TV is saying there's a real feeling of national pride out there on the streets right now, and I like how just everyone, for the rest of the book, at least this section, frames this discovery. This would be a monumental discovery purely through the lens of how it affects the American election. There's no one who's like, we now go to the Pope, who's weighing in on the spiritual aspect of this discovery, or like, we go to the people ranting on the streets that this portends the apocalypse, or the scientists who are like, we've got to go dark forest theory because if we discover this alien, we've got to go and eliminate them, type of thing. But it's all just being like, this is really going to sink Sexton's numbers in the polls, I'm afraid.
Yeah, he was really giving NASA the business yesterday. This is going to really frost their strawberries.
It doesn't cut to the Prime Minister of Canada being like, that's our meteor. It's on our land. Like, this is an international incident now.
Are people just moving out of cities, like starting cults, out in the...
Right, yeah. Where's the meteor? We just want to worship it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just there's no world building that that Stephen King would do in The Stand, seeing how everyone just little slices of life. It could have been fun.
Keeping track of unattributed Dan Brown thoughts.
Uh-huh.
God damn Gabrielle, she's the reason I'm in this so deep. I mean, I assume it's Senator Sexton, but it's completely unattributed on its own line in a book. What is this?
Wow.
And why is she the reason? Because she didn't... I think
she was the one who was like, sir, this could be a good strategy, attacking NASA. And he's like, I'm going to do whatever the hot chick says. And so that's the reason he's in this so deep.
And then later, this is chapter 73. I think it's at the end of a short chapter. Gabrielle is alone. Alone now, Gabrielle sipped her water, but it tasted foul. Everything did. Everything? What else was she tasting? She's currently drinking water. She's like sitting there with like there's a bunch of Little Debbie snack cakes in front of her. Yep, that's foul too. Snowball.
Crocodile's foul as hell.
Foul. Yep.
Cotton candy hubba bubba.
Ugh, foul. You know what? Everything tastes foul. Wagyu beef seared just perfectly. Foul.
Foul. God, it tastes like Marjorie Tench. If you ate her flesh, this is what it would taste like. Foul.
I do serve my flesh every Tuesday.
Skin flakings.
It's called Tuesday Tench Day.
I'll get a little microplane and rub some eczema off onto your... Serve it like roe. Gabriel Tench is blaming herself too. And then it cuts to some hardened Air Force pilots in a chopper about to rescue them.
Yes.
And the Charlotte surfaces. The black mountain of steel rose before them out of the waves without warning. A gargantuan, unmarked submarine blew its ballast and rose on a cloud of bubbles. The pilots exchanged uneasy laughs. Guess that's them. So any hardened Navy pilot is always on the verge of doing a so that just happened in a Dan Brown book. I appreciated that.
Yeah, these guys are not painted well in Dan Brown. Later, too, they're also doing the same thing.
Yes.
What? You?
Instead of just being like stone-faced, being like, sir, my mission is to get you there. I have no we'll talk if there's an emergency.
I have no other thoughts on this matter, sir. Okay, yeah, so the chopper pulls him off. That's a very short chapter. 75 is, Ekstrom, who's the head of NASA, or is like the face of NASA?
Head of NASA.
Head, okay. And so he's the one when they cut to the live feed and the discovery, it's like he's the guy. I mean, he's probably the villain, but I think Dan Brown might be teasing things out here a little bit. We don't know. But he gets fully into the Roswell thing. And Dan Brown has a strong opinion on this.
I mean, at first I was like, oh, he's not going conspiratorial here, which is crazy. He's like, oh, it's just the test of a spy balloon that had been listening on Russian atomic tests. And so they just... That's what everyone thought was an alien.
Yeah, that's what the military...
But he essentially then goes, but then the military was happy to let them think that.
Yes,
and so they would sort of like tease them about it. So he sort of like reverse conspiracy theories the whole thing.
He says, well, I think he's thinking to himself, every time the media reported a sudden flurry of UFO sightings, Ekstrom had to laugh. He had to. He had no choice in the matter. Every single time. So, like, constantly, like, hang on. I know this is a high-level meeting. I just got news. I got a notification on my phone. Hang on. All right, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, right. Oh, some dipshit just saw something. It's like, have you ever been on a email list that you don't unsubscribe to, even though you just delete them all the time? That's what it would be like with Extra. Be like, oh, another guy just saw something. I've got to stop laughing at these. This is not worth my time. It's getting old. It's been 10 years now. I'm still laughing at idiots. But
why do I go down my inbox and delete all these? Why don't I just unsubscribe?
Ekstrom found it pathetic that countless tourists still made pilgrimages to the New Mexico desert to scan the night skies with their video cameras. You're the head of NASA, sir. It really seems beneath you to think that just pilgrims, tourists having a good time in New Mexico buying some alien souvenirs are pathetic. I mean, you got to do something for a hobby.
Yeah, then they turn around and they see some guy with a giant cigar going, you idiots! Like, what? Wait, he's the head of NASA?
It's something to do with my kid, man. I don't know. We bought a ham radio and we listened to Art Bell. Like,
that's a good. It's a fun road trip. Come on,
it's harmless. It also says that Ekstrom's thoughts turned again to Wei Li Ming, Rachel Sexton, Nora Manger, Michael Tolan, and Kirky Marlinson. Some of the NASA staff had begun noticing the civilians were missing. You don't say. And what? So are these people all guilty of treason as well? Like, just by being like, hey, where are 5 people? There's a storm rolling in, and like, what percentage of it is the people there? I have to imagine there were less than 50. So that's like, hey, 10% of our crew has mysteriously gone missing. How long are we going to just keep pretending like that's not the case?
Who was the guy who had to? He's like, all right, I'll bury the body or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll saw him up in the other room and put him in a garbage bag.
That was, last section he discovered Ming's body and I guess was like, well, I'll keep it under wraps. Although I'm just a NASA scientist. I'm really not used to like massive dead body conspiracies. This is something you should really enlist your kill force to do, since you clearly have been issued one as director of NASA.
Tench ends the chapter, by the way, with a great Tench. We've got a problem, Tench said. Rachel. Sexton?
Yeah, Sexton.
And that's not you adding those. It says, Tench said, coughing as she spoke.
Correct. I'm just being accurate as I
The
can.
hoarse voice on the line had a familiar rasp. Familiar. It's like slipping into your favorite pair of slippers. 76 is the head of the Space Frontier Foundation shows up at Sexton's door. I believe he's unnamed, but he's tough and leather-faced. Tough and leathery, despite the man's 70-something years. That's when I usually start to associate leatheriness with people, is once you get up in years. It'd be weird if he was a 20-year-old leathery-faced person.
That is true, yes.
Anyway. And he comes in to give a whole lot of backstory and information. He says...
Why does he show up? I think I was scanning this. I'm like, what did he come for? Did the 6 terrified businessmen who bolted from his place go right to him and go like, you got to do something?
That's a good question. It does say he was an unexpected guest, so maybe he just knows he has some information and he decides this is the time to share it with the guy who's made his whole campaign about this. I don't know. He pretty much says, fills him in on some long, boring lifeline, which is that the NASA pod satellite, which they, in theory, used to discover this meteor, they had a press conference that said it wasn't going to, it stopped working, or it didn't work. But then shortly after that, they had another press conference that said they had found a patch for the software. Mm-hmm. So NASA had a press conference to announce a software patch, and they said that the guy who did the press conference was the same guy both times, Chris Harper.
Yes.
And this guy shows up and shows the leather-faced guy shows this to Sexton, the second press conference. He has a tape of it, I guess.
Yeah, he sits down in the room where everyone bolted out of, which, by the way, Sexton is hammered. I wasn't wrong about him. He's drinking all the Cavassier. It's mentioned a couple times by name. When he realized the throbbing in his ears was not from the alcohol, but rather from someone at his apartment door, he got up from the couch, stowed the bottle of Cavassier.
Wow.
Have you ever mistaken the two? First of all, I've never personally had throbbing in my ears from alcohol, and I've never mistaken it for someone ringing my doorbell.
That sounds like something for like Andy Caps when he puts one of those old hot water bottles on his head to be like the pounding in my head.
Yes.
But he's really hammered. Does the head of there question why there's snifters and business cards on the floor of his apartment?
No, I mean, I think he's just like, he's poop deck Pappy, right? When he gets a hangover and then he's like the cat walking across. Quit that stomping around. So that's when the Leatherface guy comes and does all the thing. And that is really long to talk about Chris Harper, section manager of pods, who apparently at his second press conference was like, yeah, we fixed it, I guess. And then everyone's like, he looked like crap, like warmed over death. And they're like, yeah, he's really sick.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine, but he says he looked disheveled and uneasy, sounding anything but pleased. Harper nodded, sweating. So they're like, I think this guy might have the Black Plague. Like, what?
Oh, boy. Before they said, because he shows him the tape of the one before, right? And he's like, well, we've got this pods thing, and what it does is, I'm glad you asked that.
He's sort of Hugh Grant. He's like, well, the pods thing will revolutionize science, and when it gets out there, it's just like, James Bond, essentially.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, wringing out his handkerchief, and there's dripping.
He's Chris Farley for the next one. Like, I don't know what's going on.
It's like, sir, hold it together. But then it goes on to say, Sexton had told enough lies in his life to recognize a poor liar when he saw one. Dr. Harper sure looked suspicious. So just the ultimate, Chris Farley, the guy you don't want in your mission, counting cards at the casino, and they're like, get this guy out of here. Like, so that's their end. Like, we think that this guy was lying when he announced that fix for pods.
But the Leatherface guy would have to be like, you fell asleep 3 times during those 2 press conferences. Now you're just vomiting on yourself. Okay, look, maybe I'll come back at a different time, Senator.
There's another pounding at the door. He's like, how much Taco Bell did you DoorDash? Good Lord, man, you're running for president. Like, oh, this is unbecoming of you, sir.
But he realizes, okay, so he thought it was over, so maybe he Charlton Hestoned a little too early and dove into the Cavassier bottle, because this guy's like, no, you see, they lied about the meteorite. Like, no. So then he has to get in touch with, so I guess with Gabrielle, all is forgiven?
Yep, he's gonna forgive her very quickly. I guess he never really had it out with her, but there's more details of that emerge later. So
yeah, okay.
So they've left on a G4 plane headed to undisclosed government location, and we get the reference to the eat his hat again, but we get this analogy I liked. It said, the president and Marjorie Tench, like some sort of political tag team wrestling duo, had maneuvered for the kill. But tag teams knowing for killing people. But while the president remained dignified outside the ring, Tench had moved in, circling, cunningly lining up the senator for the presidential body slam. So it's sort of like a hello, fellow wrestling fans. I am Dan Brown. I have seen a wrestling fight before. But it just a lot going in there. Marjorie Tench is lining up the senator for the presidential body slam, where the president remained dignified outside the ring. I mean, I've seen tag teams back in the day when Macho Man was outside the ring and Hulk was inside. And Macho Man was not necessarily dignified. He was.
Excuse me, when you're finished, if you could slap my hand, I'll take a turn at this chap. I could box his ears back a little bit.
I am still wearing a neon Speedo and neon fringe on my muscles, but I am quite dignified. And then, what's next? Oh, yeah, then the Delta One is still observing all these people. Oh, no, Delta One is calling into an anonymous controller.
Oh, yes, Delta lets whoever the controller, yeah, they use the word controller, I guess just to hide the identity of this person, or maybe it's an official term, I don't know. Yeah, they let them know they failed. This is the one I became rather exercised about this. Pickering, with his trademark chaste logic, had concluded the meteorite must be fake. Chaste, C-H-A-S-T-E. Mm-hmm. Immediately like, wait, what? What is he actually trying to say? Like, if you look it up, okay, I guess chaste could mean sort of plain or unembellished, unremarkable, but that is like 17 definitions down the line. Before that, it's like virgin, not having sex before marriage, we all know what chaste means. And he obviously just went to a thesaurus and they went, I mean, I guess you could use chaste.
When it says uncommon in parentheses, so it's like
extremely uncommon. So that just bugged me. Like, dude, we know you just like dove, you're typing and typing and typing. Like, I don't want to say like sparse logic, clean logic, Spock-like logic. Like,
or just logic, because all of those things are implied by when you say logic.
Yes. Chaste logic.
We talked about it offline because this had you really worked up, and I Googled it. When you Google it in quotes, so it's the exact phrase, you get 2 pages of Google results, which is none. That might as well be nothing. And 3 or 4 of them are referencing this passage of Deception Point. So you are not wrong in saying this is an uncommon phrase.
That one just bugged me. Okay.
How about this one? Your team failed, the controller seethed, the androgynous tone hardly masking the person's rage.
Androgynous?
Their tone was androgynous. I don't know if they're using
voice masking. Voice masking.
But it's not their voice was not androgynous. It was their tone.
Oh, the
tone. When I'm talking, I'm talking. I don't know how to do that. That is like saying like. I don't even have a comparison, but I guess
It probably should have been a
inflection-
Sonic challenge, but
It probably should have been.
too late now.
But it would have been impossible to pull off. It's like saying taste green.
Yes.
Be like, that's not.
Yeah.
It's just not how that works. Anyway.
Right. Chapter 78.
Yeah. This is
Gabrielle is like, oh, now I need to jump into action. She was at ABC Studios, or she is at ABC.
Yeah, that's
Studios?
where she watched the press conference with Mother, her mentor.
Mother, yeah. Okay.
And she is like, I think he calls Gabrielle.
Oh, yeah. He's like, hey, I talked to Leather Guy. I'm pretty drunk. You look like Halle Berry. Like, can we please just stick to the...
Let's keep it professional, sir.
Please.
Well, he also walks the leathery faced guy out, and then he comes back in, and the bodyguard is like, "Hey,
Oh, right.
what Gabrielle want to talk about?" And he's like, "This moron let Gabrielle into my apartment." And he's like, he swallows his anger and forced to smile. "Oh yes, I'm sorry, I'm exhausted. Had a couple of drinks too. Miss Ash and I did indeed speak." So the bodyguard's like, "This guy's running for president, and he got so drunk that he forgot he talked to his right-hand aide. Like, this is, I should probably tip people off about this. This is no good for anybody." But yeah, I don't think he's talked to Gabrielle yet, but he's going to. And
okay.
The next,
Yeah, that's
next
right.
chapter, she's at ABC News. And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
when he
He's
talks to her.
speculating about her. He says Gabrielle had no doubt seen the press conference and was now standing on a ledge somewhere getting ready to jump. I mean, kind of famously a fail up town, isn't it? I
Yeah, very much, yes.
I don't think anyone is going to. That's it for me.
My next
I'm
scandal
done.
ain't been born yet. Yeah.
Yeah, there are no second acts in American life. I'm gone.
She's ready to jump off the balcony onto the streets of Washington, D.C., and then Marion Barry, who was elected mayor again after getting caught on camera smoking crack and saying, "Bitch set me up, Wasp Patch." And she's like, "Maybe I should live to see another day." This is...
Yeah. Let's give this the old college try. This is great advice. Senator Sexton knew above all he could not afford to lose Gabrielle Ash's trust. Women could become vengeful and stupid when they felt deceived. So,
Wow.
guys, just tuck that away, gentlemen. Let that guide your marriages and relationships for the rest of your life. Thank you.
Yes. Men, such as you, who just fell to your knees and tore at your hair when you got a slight bit of bad news, are rational and intelligent when you've been deceived by people. So, cut
And
to you
immediately pick up the Cavassier bottle and mistake the ringing of the doorbell for the own throbbing in your ears. Women, am I right?
Oh boy. The next chapter, he calls her. And
That's when he
hand
calls
waves
her.
Yeah. Her. She's like, "Oh, you were meeting with those big shots from the space industry. Isn't that illegal?" He's like, "No, all the donations are under the $2,000 cap." So she's like, "Oh, good. That clears up all my concerns there." And she's like, "Wow, that was close. I almost jumped ship to Marjorie Tench." And she vows to redeem herself by she doubles down on her support for her candidate.
Yes. That leads us to chapter 80.
Yeah, and this is where we get some backstory about William Pickering, head of the NRO.
I have a piece. Yes. His backstory. Do you want to tell the backstory? I'm going to copy something here and send it to you, and you're going to read
great.
with me a little reading.
Nice. The backstory is that he had a daughter, Diana, in the Navy, and she was killed by terrorists who plowed a suicide ship into their boat and exploded it with 13 other Americans. I think this is meant to echo the Cole. Was that something that happened
Yes,
in
the
around
USS
this period
Cole,
of time?
yes.
And it turns out that this terrorist cell, the NRO was totally prepared to launch some missiles at it, or the CIA, but NASA's vehicle didn't work because due to the engineers responsible for the fuel injection system had been forced to use a second-rate materials in an effort to stay on budget. And this exploded the surveillance system they needed, so they couldn't observe this terrorist cell. And because of that, his daughter was killed. So it's a very like Batman villain origin of his distaste for NASA. He harbors this, fairly loose grudge. But I found it very funny that NASA was essentially being like, yeah, because of budget cuts, we had to go onto Amazon and use, font rear engine materials from some seller in China. So that's why that's why your daughter's dead.
Engine material, very good, must buy, take now, 2 per package.
Best launch, NASA.
Quick ship.
So yeah, that's why he loathes NASA. He's been trying to get them out. All right, so what did you have for me?
I sent it to you via IM. I will do Tench. This is directly from the text, so I'm not making anything up here. You ready?
Yes.
This is Tench and Pickering on a phone call.
You arranged to pick up, and you didn't contact me.
I arranged transport. That is correct.
And yet you chose not to inform me.
Rachel Sexton has made some very disturbing accusations.
Regarding the authenticity of the meteorite and some kind of attack on her life.
Among other things.
Obviously, she is... she is lying.
You are aware she is with 2 others who corroborate her story.
Yes. Most disturbing. The White House is very concerned by their claims.
Is it the White House or you personally?
Hang on. I just tamp my cigarettes down here. Pull out another straight Camel. Completely unfiltered, of course.
Okay. Are you sure you should be smoking this? Because you sound kind of rough.
I don't understand even what you're saying. I sound as dulcet as I always have, darling.
Ear, so I don't catch whatever you have. Hold the phone further away.
You and I sometime. Anyway.
No.
Hang on, I just gotta put some gas in my lighter here.
You're using a gas lighter? Why? Why would you not use a refill?
Hang on. All right, it's lit.
That explains that smell when I see you.
Yeah, I have an ominous last thing to say to you here, if you would. Okay. As far as you are concerned, Director, there is no difference tonight.
Yeah, that is ominous, because everything has an ominous tone to you, but I'm mostly hung up on... That's my main takeaway from talking to you.
You don't find that appealing? You don't think that people listening to this in their earbuds are liking what I'm doing?
Being like, oh my God, I've got to get that kill force on that lady. If only she didn't have her own kill force.
I'm sure you all have the 15-second skip button. Just keep hitting that.
Yeah, that's worse than a Hims ad, man. I gotta skip that. So yeah, that's her saying that all 3 of the survivors are lying about their about what they be doing, and Pickering is essentially like, their motives for lying escape me if they're all lying, and she essentially is like, there are forces at work here which you might not be aware, sort of like Ned Beatty in Network, says that under Title 18, Section 3056 of the United States Code, the Secret Service can make unwarranted arrests, blah, blah, blah. So that's how they are going to detain Rachel and all the other ones. They do have it's a get into jail free card, essentially.
And then she says, hey, we need to talk about this. Can't believe you didn't call. She says it in the voice. Go back a minute and listen to the voice if you need it. Says, meet me at the FDR Memorial. Now, is this true? I don't know. The FDR Memorial sat midway between the Jefferson and Lincoln memorials in an extremely safe part of town. Is that part true? I don't know.
Yes. I mean, that's it's National Mall-ish. I mean, have you been to D.C.?
I have. I'm sure there are cameras everywhere, but extremely safe part of town struck me as
I mean, it seems like if Tench said that would be gilding the lily a bit to make it seem like what's going to happen, but that is a funny way to put it. It's also, you're probably picturing... I don't think I've ever been there, and I've lived here for most of my life. So it is not where you're imagining, like, stepping off the steps at the Lincoln Memorial and looking down towards the Capitol. On that long stretch of green that also has the Washington Monument. It's tucked further away, a bit more off the beaten path. So if you're planning a shadowy thing, I would personally go to one of the many restaurants that are open and would be happy to seat any DC Power players in a remote part of the room and certainly might be familiar with you, rather than going and meet something under like a poorly lit,
in a darkened
closed monument that's like along the GW Parkway. However,
it is the extremely safe part of town.
Maybe
that'll push you over the edge.
I guess that's the question of like what you would even consider that as being like, the part of the police station parking lot where they say if you're buying something from someone off a Facebook Marketplace, this is the standing spot we have that is okay to meet us. Like that seems like it's about as safe as it probably come.
Yes.
This, I don't know. There's probably not really anyone hanging there to do crime because no one goes there, not only during the day but during the night.
Yes.
So, it's like that sounds pretty shadowy. This seems like someplace you'd go to do something extremely unsavory at this time of night.
Yeah, why would you bring that up? How safe it is? Huh. Seems a touch suspicious. Chapter 81?
Yes. So this is Gabrielle trying to call Chris Harper,
yes,
the NASA guy famous for going on TV and sweating and looking like shit. And she gets his wife, and who tells him that everyone is at NASA headquarters partying.
Yes, and Yolanda, Yolanda, like, mother, right? Is that it?
Yes.
Mommy? Mother? Mommy? I don't know. She says, which I immediately took a disliking. We haven't seen much of Yolanda at ABC, but she goes, if you do this or whatever, can you say public stoning? Like, ugh, Yolanda. I was pretty much like on the fence about you. I strongly dislike you now.
Yeah, and just remember that she said that because that'll come up later.
And Yolanda also, she likes to mix her metaphors. Here's her again. Yolanda shook her head. Sexton is sending you into a hornet's nest on a desperate pipe dream.
Wow.
What?
Wow. He's waiting outside the hornet's nest like a dignified tag team member.
Yes.
On a desperate pipe dream.
On a desperate pipe dream. I think I copied that correctly.
No, that's 100% correctly. But a pipe dream is not a errand. You know.
No.
Like it's a you don't go. I'm going to go on a pipe dream, honey. I'll be back. I think my husband's having a stroke.
A pipe dream?
Into a hornet's nest. Traditional place to venture on a pipe dream.
Thank you for telling me about 19th century opium use while talking about the danger of white-bellied hornets. What?
No, this hornet's nest is an extremely safe part of town.
Ah, okay, I'm in.
And then she ends by saying, hey, like, if I find a story there, I'll call you. Yolanda gave a skeptical laugh. If you find a story over there, I'll eat my hat. So there's lots of hat eating being promised, but it's not acknowledged whether she's doing that as a reference to the senator's hat eating. But it has to be.
I think I don't. Yeah, they don't say that gave a skeptical laugh.
Yeah,
we can assume they laughed afterwards as well, right?
Yes. Yeah, there is the laughing has been ratcheted down ever since NASA's big discovery, but we do get some more laughing. I think coming up maybe this next section.
Yes.
How about this sentence to start off chapter 82? Michael Toland had been struggling with his own disquieting ruminations about the meteorite, but now, with Rachel's probing questions, he was feeling an added unease over the issue. So, wow, he had been struggling with disquieting ruminations, but now that Rachel is probing him, he feels added unease. So that's stacked up on top of the disquieting ruminations.
I don't know how to separate them anymore. Please, let's get to a quirky joke really quick. Okay, sir, we can do that.
I have to imagine we're supposed to envision that as being one of those "has this ever happened to you" made for TV ads where his disquieting ruminations are all around him and then like the feeling of added unease falls on him out of the ceiling and just
yes. He blows the tuft of hair out of his face like, what am I gonna do?
At least he didn't fall to his knees and grab his hair out of the weight of all those disquieting ruminations.
Yeah.
And this begins Rachel's doing her job as a gister. She's going back to square one and being like, if we didn't have any preconceived notions about this meteorite, quote, what would we think about this? And so she starts doing this thought exercise to Mike and Corky. And she's like, if you're saying someone handed you this fossilized rock with no explanation, you'd have to conclude it was from Earth. And he says, of course. It'd be a far greater leap to assume it was extraterrestrial. And then that's sort of what they work through for a lot further of this section, is being like questioning their initial assumptions about the meteorite.
Right, and this is this was a reel in fanfic that I believe I incorrectly guessed.
Oh, did you? Yeah,
because it was about what could grow this large? Well, under the ocean they grow this large, and lobsters and crabs are basically spiders under the ocean. I'm never having a lobster roll again. Or whatever. Corky.
Yes, that's not you saying something like that. That is exactly what he says, as it says he turned green by envisioning eating lobsters.
Oh, boy.
The part that wasn't in fanfic is where Colin says, an Alaskan king crab could be wrongly classified as a giant spider.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
There's a connection.
If he turns out to be behind the killings, that would be pretty amazing. His voice could be androgynous. Or his tone, I'm sorry.
Click,
king
click,
crab.
click, 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 clickety, click, click.
Androgynous clicks. It has to be only one thing.
Look at those claw marks in the sand.
And then she's like, barring the issue of its authenticity, do you think we found the fossils we saw that were in the meteorite could have come from the Earth's ocean? And Tolan says, hypothetically, I'd have to say yes. Where was this skepticism 24 hours ago, you moron? He's like, yeah, the ocean floor is 190 million years ago. That's the same age as the fossils. So sure, that could be from there.
It is like one of the longer chapters, and it is about the nickel content of the meteorite.
Oh my God.
I was just glazing over, like, you got to stop talking about this. Because this is obviously something that Dan Brown just read an article on or something. Like, something you say at a dinner party and then your wife kicks you in the shin under the table. Like, you have to stop talking about the nickel content.
I wrote down in this, I'll tell you my note from this section, or I'll act it out as I'm reading it. The issue of the nickel content, Rachel said to Corky. Explain to me this again. The nickel content in Earth rocks is either very high or very low, but in meteorites, the nickel content is within a specific mid-range. So the meteorite forced you to reevaluate what you consider. So he essentially says, we always have to look at the nickel content. There's a range of nickel content from the meteors. This meteor was outside that range, and it forced us to reevaluate what the established mid-range nickel window is. It threw off the curve so much that it was outside the range of acceptable nickel content.
And then, isn't it at the end of it, she kind of says, so he's like, look, 100%. There's no way you get a nickel content like this. It is impossible. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. Doodle-doodle-doo. Is the nickel content really that bad? Well, actually, it could be. Come on. No, he's like standing up and foaming like, how dare you question my nickel content?
Yes.
And she just asks a follow-up like, what about if this? Well, then of course it would be.
Yeah. I regret that I have but one life to give, for my country. Do you? Well, I have two lives. It's not a big deal. And Tolan's like, it hadn't seemed like a major issue at the time. I was told this meteorite exhibited slightly higher nickel content than seen in other meteorites, but the NASA specialist seemed unconcerned. And so he, then he went back to his room. He edited a 15-minute documentary. He narrated the whole thing, but he knew all this information. It just she doesn't even pull a thread. She sort of like looks at the evidence askance and everything unravels immediately from these two dipshits on this plane after they've gone live being like, this is proof of extraterrestrial life. We need every single thing to be airtight because there's going to be guys with GeoCity pages analyzing your documentary frame by frame. Like, people are going to be, the slightest thing is going to make you look like fools. And just, she undoes it all within less than 2 hours of then going live.
Well, we half-assed it. Plus, he's green, so I mean, I'm not eating any more lobster roll. Doctor, please focus on the nickel content.
Yeah, so there goes on to be more stuff like that, but that is the how the story starts to unravel. And next chapter, Gabrielle ends up at NASA.
Yes. She sneaks her way in, right?
Yes. She's afraid because she's half expecting a crew of angry NASA employees coming to stone her.
Right. Yes.
Unclear if that's a callback to the previous stoning joke or if that seed is planted because of the other woman saying they're going to come stone you. I just go about my life, I kind of worry sometimes maybe I'll get hit by a crazy driver on the road, but I'm really not afraid of stonings happening very often.
That is truly not one that I put in my worry list. When I'm out on a busy street on my bicycle, I'm like, crazy drivers. Maybe they'll stone me as they go past. Here's my big question for this one, because she sneaks in. They use a lot of time and space on this, but she does the thing in the elevator. She follows a guy in. James Tyson or Thyssen? Who are you casting as this guy? Because we spent a lot of time with this guy.
Okay. Well, I got hung up on the fact that it's extremely close to Jim Tice, author of IRL.
Yeah, there is that too. I was like, wait a minute, is that a weird half-assed tribute to this guy?
I did not picture a guy as Jim Tice, but he's sort of an everyman. I don't know, a Jason Bateman type of guy.
Well, he's from the finance department.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he's like, who are you now? What program are you working on? And she's like, I work on the elevator button program.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know there was an elevator button. Yeah, it's new. John works on it. There's no John who works it. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
It just goes on and on.
Shop-worn cliches of Scooby-Doo sneaking into a place. She does the people coming down the hall, so she bends over to get a drink of water and looks at them out of the corner of her eyes until they pass, type of thing. So maybe Wallace Shawn. I mean, based on your voice there.
Yeah, I guess that could be. One time, when I was in San Diego, headed home to Minneapolis, and I had to get there. There's like a wedding or something. There was a security breach, and the entire airport was emptied. And so they just kept doing the voice, like, please, you have to go back through security. Everyone leave the gate immediately. I was like, yeah, I don't know if that's right. So I just did the thing of hiding in a corner, like security guys were coming by, like, let's go, buddy, let's go, and then I was like, yep, I'm headed that way. And then I just hid behind a garbage can. And then I went and I got on the plane. The plane was like, where is everyone? We're like, well, we're taking off. So they took off. So I felt
Cavassier, Mr. Nelson?
Yeah, I felt like such a moron, hiding behind the security people, not looking them in the eyes, looking like I'm walking towards. Boy, it sure is fun going back through security, and then hiding behind a door.
Yeah, or you pose as a standee of yourself holding a book at a Hudson News next to a picture of the president holding their book, type of thing. They walk right past you and you put it
coming
down.
out right behind him. Oh. Okay.
She looks in a janitor's closet, and I thought for a second she was going to do the pull the janitor in, and then there's a little tussle when she comes out wearing their uniform.
Oh yeah. Anyway, the guy in the elevator cracked me up. I was trying to cast him.
I watched the first episode of Get a Life the other day. Maybe Chris Elliott could be the guy in the elevator. That would be good.
I almost sent you an old Chris Elliott thing he did. This is such a high wire act. He did his impression of William Shatner doing Rocket Man.
Oh, wow.
But did the entire thing. It's like the audience just going we don't know what the original is. So what are you doing? I'm a rocket man. You hear a few from the audience.
Miss Tench, is that you out there?
Yeah.
I've performed that once before. There is video of it somewhere.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, compare and contrast. That's an
See
extra.
if I can track it down. Yeah.
Yeah. Chris Elliott versus Conor.
I'll make a note if I can track it down.
Mm-hmm.
Time for a real or fanfic break, I would say.
Fanfic. Real, fanfic, real, fanfic, 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 real, fanfic, real, fanfic, real.
All right, this is Real or Fanfic, the segment on our podcast where we will try to fool Mike with 5 excerpts that potentially come from the final quarter of Deception Point by Dan Brown, or our fan fiction written by our beloved Patreon jackals over at patreon.com/372 pages. You should go check it out because we just posted a 280 mysteries where Joel McHale of Community and Animal Control joined us to solve an Encyclopedia Brown mystery. It was awesome.
It was really fun. He's fun to hang out with, and it was really fun that he was terrible at mysteries. It was just something I didn't expect from him.
Well, yeah, I'd say he was hung up on some of the
He got hung up in the
sprinkled
weeds.
around in the
Yes.
Donald Sobel, but
In a very funny and entertaining way is what I'm saying. It was great.
I just always like it. I don't know, when people, you don't know them very well, but when people are legitimately funny on their own to
Yes.
just interact with people they don't
Yeah,
really know. It makes me happy. Mm-hmm. It makes you realize that talent is rewarded, and sometimes. But yeah, so these are Patreon jackals submitted this fanfic. These could all be real, or they could all be fanfic, or a combination of the two. Here is number 1. Gabrielle stepped out of the heat and into the blessedly cold lobby of Chazelle, the favored bakery of the political elite. She went to the counter and gave her name as she pulled the senator's credit card from her purse. Business expense, she thought with dark humor, and added a 50% tip on the already costly purchase. As the cashier slid the cake box across the counter, Gabrielle lifted the lid to check that everything was perfect. Chef Jacques was famous for his use of pétanisse, a rolled icing that could be shaped like modeling clay into any shape the client, most often a demanding bride, desired. The taste of pétanisse or fondant was unfavorable, but Gabrielle didn't want him to enjoy it. A smile curled on her lips as she took in the shape of the cake. It looked just like Sexton's classic fedora he was known for wearing at winter events, and Gabrielle was going to make him eat it.
Oh, wow. Boy. That is tricky. Isn't fondant is a thing? If you there was a short period where I think my kids liked to watch Cake Boss. So you just hear the word, and then I had to make up a batch of fondant. I'd never heard the word fondant. Doesn't you don't hear it a lot in your house, and all of a sudden I'm hearing the word fondant hundreds of times an hour. Stop it. That seems, is it a mite too clever? Boy, this is a knife's edge for me. Yeah, I think someone's put me on. I'm going to say fanfic.
All right. Number 2. Dinner at Davide says I can guess your password in 10 seconds. Sexton looked intrigued and amused. You can't afford Davide, Gabrielle. So you're saying you're chicken? Sexton appeared almost sorry for her as he accepted the challenge. 10 seconds? He logged off and motioned to Gabrielle to sit down and give it a try. You know, I only ordered the salt and boca at Davide, and that ain't cheap. She shrugged as she sat down. It's your own money. Enter password. 10 seconds, Sexton reminded. Gabrielle had to laugh. She would only need 2. Even from the doorway, she could see that Sexton had entered his 3-key password in very rapid succession, using only his index finger. Obviously all the same key. Not wise. She could also see that his hand had been positioned over the far left side of his keyboard, cutting the possible alphabet down to only about 9 letters. Choosing the letter was simple. Sexton had always loved the triple alliteration of his title, Senator Sedgewick Sexton. Never underestimate the ego of a politician. She typed SSS, and the screensaver evaporated. Sexton's jaw hit the floor.
Oh, boy.
Hacking.
That sounds like something someone wanted to pull out. I'm going to say that's real.
Wow. Pretty stupid, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Number 3. Once again, Rachel found herself seated across from her father at Toulouse restaurant, as if the last 48 hours had not taken place. God, was it only 48 hours? How time flies when your government is trying to kill you. Her father gave no appearance of concern that anything was out of order. To the contrary, he was the cat who ate the canary, its feathers still strewn across his Burberry blazer as a reminder to all that this was one cat you didn't cross. Sexton flipped through the photos Rachel had provided, the photos of him and his former aide, in flagrante delicto. He set them aside and resumed his breakfast of buttermilk pancakes topped with strawberries and cream. "Aren't you going to say anything?" she asked, incredulous. "What? I'm a widower. She's single. No crime here. She's your underling. She's half your age, which will be worth 2 or 3 points among the male demographic. Do you think Zach Herney's hitting that? Not a chance." God. Rachel was stunned. Her father sensed her confusion and explained, "Who do you think took the photos, kiddo?" You did this? "I told you should have come work for me. I'm going to win this walking away," he grinned. "There's still time, you know. Prodigal daughter comes home is always great copy."
Wow. In flagrante delicto and hitting this? I'm going to say the hitting it doesn't seem Dan Brownish, so I'm going to say that's fanfic.
Okay. We went back to our high school reunion last year, and a teacher used that phrase "in flagrante delicto" because he talked about walking in on my friend in a Model UN meeting. Not meeting, like we went to a hotel, and he I don't know. My high school teacher used that phrase at our reunion to describe something. That's the only reason I've heard of it before. Number 4. I don't think so, Tench spat, clamping her bony, nicotine-stained fingers around Rachel's wrist. With her other hand, she gave a twist to the harpoon, keeping Rachel's leg pinned to the equipment crate. The searing pain rocketed through her nervous system and pushed against her brain until her vision became cloudy. The purple haze framing all that she could see blended with the smoke billowing from Marjorie Tench's nostrils and mouth. "You," she jerked her head toward Delta 1. "Get a zip tie on this hand and make sure the other one is secure." Delta 2 was dragging Toland's limp body around to the other side of the crate. "The charges are set," he announced. "That's one thing I don't have to do myself," Tench growled. "Now let's go see if you Cracker Jacks manage to kill Fat Ass, or if I have to clean that up too." She paused to take a luxurious draw on her cigarette before flicking its remains over the railing, and then leaned in close to Rachel's face. "No loose ends," she said, emphasizing each individual word with a little puff of foul-smelling smoke.
Wow, it takes a long time.
She strode across the floating dock platform and then straddled the center wave runner, looking like a shiny black-clad praying mantis perched over the headless body of its unfortunate mate. 2 of the soldiers mounted the flanking watercraft, and they roared off together in search of whatever remained of Corky Marlinson.
I admire that one. I have to say fanfic because I can't believe it, but it is good. There is a really quick. When I was a kid, there was a local puppet show. I grew up in Chicago, and it was hosted by the local jovial host guy, and it was BJ and the Dirty Dragon. And the dragon was this little puppet that had 2 nostrils. I know it was pretty even then. We were
perfect,
but the little dragon was like a little latex puppet. But his smoke continually blew from his nostrils. So even as a kid, I was like, man, I would not want to be that intern who has to sit below with a little pipe, blow into that thing to make the smoke come out of the nostrils. And it was like, yeah, what are you talking about, Captain? Just like smoke coming out of it. So that's Marjorie Tench. There you go.
It looks to be well remembered. There's pictures of the Dirty Dragon with
is there?
Smoke coming out of its nostrils.
I've never looked it up.
Right away. That's amazing. Better props than I pictured. It's like better than a Roller Gator movie.
Yeah.
Number 5, last one. As Rachel closed the door behind her, she felt a clammy draft on her bare legs. Where is he? Across the room, a window was open, the white organza curtains billowing. She walked over to close the window, and an eerie whisper murmured from the closet. "Mary!" Rachel wheeled, Mary, the voice whispered again. Is that you, Mary Todd Lincoln? Rachel quickly closed the window and turned back toward the closet. Her heart was racing, although she knew it was foolish. Mike, I know that's you. No, the voice continued. I am not Mike. I am Abe.
What? I mean,
I'll just put that as your response, says the...
Mary Todd Lincoln?
I mean, after I read it a couple times, I assumed that they have snuck into the Lincoln bedroom in the White House.
Okay, I'm going to have to say that that's real just because it's so bizarre. Not that people can't come up with bizarre, because I'm probably going to whiff on all of these. But,
all right, well, let's see. Number one was getting the fondant cake and making him eat his hat. You said fanfic for that. That was fanfic submitted by Cynthia.
It was well done. I was truly coin flip on that.
That one was really good because you have to imagine Gabrielle's turning by the end of this thing.
Yes.
Number two was guessing the password scene. You said real for that. That is real. Submitted by Curtis and Cameron, both pinpointed that one. So that's there you go. We got that to look forward to. Number three was. In flagrante delicto and hitting that. You said fanfic for that. That is fanfic submitted by Mike T. The hitting that might have been its undoing. It just sounds too young and of a different era. Other than that, so 3 for 3. Number 4 was Marjorie Tench hopping on a jet ski. You said fanfic for that. That's fanfic written by Chap. I know.
That was good description of Marjorie. Like, it's up in the like right, I did. Rewrite her if she's not hideous enough.
Yeah, it's too good though. Hopping on a jet ski, I think a bridge too far. And number 5, so that's 4 for 4, was some sort of nonsense about Abe and Mary Todd Lincoln as a ghost. Perhaps you said real for that, and that is real. Submitted by
Wow.
So 5 for 5. Yeah. This is, it's quite the stretch, I feel like. It's just,
wow.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you. There's so much nonsense in this one. It's very difficult.
Especially because, you could say anything you want from Wikipedia, and it would sound like it was his thing. So, anyway.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, we got some hacking to look forward to. That's we got that in the final quarter.
Nice. Pizza.net coming up, everyone. Get ready for that.
What do we got? The president. This is Sexton talking to Marjorie Tench.
84, right?
84. Yep.
This is a press report about the discovery. Is that what this is?
A CNN anchor.
Yeah. Okay.
They're pretty much saying could not have come at a better time for the embattled president, and not at a worse time for Senator Sexton. So again, no focus on the wide-ranging ethical and moral and spiritual implications of this discovery, just pure horse race of local politics.
Yeah, if you go to, Politico or something and the combined polls, like, oh boy, it changed to 0.3 today. I'm going to click on it every hour and see if it changes.
Yeah, right. It's just the most self-centered and stupid way to view what would be quite a moment in world history.
Yes, absolute world-shaking. 3-foot lice from another planet. All right. Chapter 85. I don't really have anything on 84.
Yeah, nothing
it's
else.
Very short.
85 is back at the NASA base in the Arctic.
And yes, Ekstrom is upset. I just have a plot summary for it. I'm afraid I don't have anything.
Okay.
Ekstrom is upset that Pickering knows the truth from Saucy Sexton. I couldn't remember her name, so I just wrote down Saucy. It's something like, what is it? I don't know, Saucy, Sparky Sexton, Rachel Sexton.
Rachel Sexton.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just more of a pick. Ekstrom is, he's like, I've made some choices in desperation. I had to see the irreversible damage that would be done by polluting this moment of triumph. So he was alluding to having to do things for the greater good. But there is no, it says there's a storm rolling through. The NASA staff is nervously milling about and chatting rather than going to sleep, and no word about how many are aware of all their dead colleagues or anything like that. But they are nervous about the storm rolling in.
And the one who died was she was hot, like she was the head of like extracting the thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, none of these were underlings.
No, this is not like, oh, that guy who sits in the closet and does data entry. I noticed he's not there eating Hot Pockets anymore. Like, no, these are people who are like, good morning, everyone. Yeah. Hey, team, we need to sit down for a confab before we start today. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, we're not doing that anymore? And they're all just like, whatever, Canadian beer.
Yeah, I need to decide my timesheet. This is important. Well, that would be exciting. It would be nice to know how Ekstrom would corral all those concerns. But 86 goes back to the riveting discussion of nickel content.
Yes, it certainly does.
So, once again, they find this thing. It's on Canadian soil. They have this meteor. Everyone's going to want a little piece of this, right? They'd be like, we want to test it in our lab. Give us a little drilling, a little bore into it. We want a piece. All of this would have been uncovered within hours of this happening, right? Because everyone would have these exact same type of questions.
Yeah, it's not the Shroud of Turin where they're like, no, this is a relic. We can't send you a thread. You could settle this in a minute. No, we this is a holy relic. We can't do anything to it. Right. It's just a gigantic meteorite. Sure, we'll send you a plug of it immediately. Right. No problem, man.
Yeah. So they're talking about the iron content, nickel content, and the chondrules, and then they get into oxidization.
Yes.
Because the meteor obviously burns up upon entry of the atmosphere. Mm-hmm. They say that you can't carbon date when the burn happened, and we start to get into a whole bunch of different theories about how it could have been burned if it was planted there. They're like, could it have happened from a volcano? Could it have happened from a man-made furnace? And they're like, no, it could only have happened through the vast change of streaking through the Earth's warm atmosphere.
Right.
But they keep talking about that and getting to ionized hydrogen. If nickel wasn't exciting enough for you, that was a tip off. And Rachel somehow, as a professional gister, has a theory about where the higher levels of ionized hydrogen could come from if it wasn't from re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere.
Oh, boy. Do not invite her to a dinner party. We get the line. I don't know. This might be them. They're just speculating back and forth. Secretly planting a meteorite beneath the ice only made sense as part of a brilliantly conceived fraud. Does it make sense at all? Like, what? This is a pretty, we are talking, it's like Bond villain stuff where you're like, what he's going to do, you see, he's going to shoot a thing out of a volcano, and then it's going to go up, and then it'll crackle over the earth, and it'll deliver this drug to everyone. Now,
right.
What we need to do this is we need 4,000 guys who work below the earth. Is it brilliant to do that? That seems like you're spreading yourself way too thin.
Yeah, none of this is brilliant if the question she's asking right away, that again would be asked immediately by a lot smarter people with a bigger platform than her, are immediately taking the air out of it.
Yeah, even you're like a person who shows their legs on MSNBC or something, right? Would go, now, are you sure the zinc or the nickel content couldn't be, crossing your legs and like you perfectly coiffed? Like that would be, and you'd be like,
God, I'm sweating like Harper. Oh. Yeah. It's what you talk about when you talk about all the different ways that the crazy conspiracies people believe wouldn't come together, and one of them is keeping all the people who would have to work on them to pull off something that big happen quiet. And you have this here where that undermines any whatever this conspiracy is. It's going to be undermined by a lot of the stuff that happens in this upcoming section, including something Delta Force does.
Oh yes. Rachel had seen programs on television where human remains were dug from the ice after 4,000 years, and the person's skin looked almost perfect. Was this on Young Sheldon? What were you watching? What show was this?
A very special picket fences. And so I wondered about that, because that seemed like something from my youth where they discovered an Iceman or something.
Sure.
So I looked up what the most famous Iceman looked like. You can tell he was in the ice for several thousand years. That was not something where it's like you're going to weekend at Bernie's this guy and take him to the office party, and people are going to be like, "Hey, boss, just a second. Whenever you get a minute, I just wanted to talk to you about the McAllister project." And Bernie nods. By the
Want to get a little FaceTime with you, Bogman, if that's okay.
It looks a lot more like the Crypt Keeper than Marjorie Tench. I'll put it that way. The Iceman. If you Google like whoever the most famous Iceman is.
Wow.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe on the program she saw it was different. Maybe on that episode of
The program on television.
Capital Critters.
She also, it's plural. Rachel had seen programs on television where human remains.
Did you have a TiVo where you can indicate your interests?
Yeah,
Icemen being dug up, or
it's Bogman Week here on Discovery Channel.
I'm glad that stood out to you too. So yeah, that's why she knows that's part of her. She's just a gister. She gets the gist of things.
Yes.
Next chapter is 87, and this is where Gabrielle goes into the janitor's closet looking for a thing, for a key ring. But then she gets into Harper's office. He's there by himself because he's like everyone else is celebrating, but he knows that this is a fraud, so he's in by himself, worrying tonight.
Yeah, he's going, oh boy, no. He might even be falling to his knees, clasping his hair. But did you stop on the laminated signs pointing in all directions?
Yes.
What? Lowercase arrow, uppercase Landsat 7, lowercase arrow, Terra, arrow. This was... What is this?
It's Amazon brand names. Akramsat.
Yes. Yeah, I bought those new earbuds from Akramsat. They blew up in my ear on day 3.
I didn't think about this, but maybe the arrow in lowercase is meant to be some sort of an arrow pointing towards. You go this way to get to.
Oh, it probably is an
actual.
Yeah, it probably is. Okay.
Who knows?
I can't fault him for the optical character recognition doing the wrong thing here.
But so she goes in there and she's going to get Harper to confess, and she's going to employ a technique she learned from Sexton that was pioneered by early Roman authorities to coax confessions. And the technique is overshooting. So you assert the information you want confessed, something far worse than to give them a chance to confess to the lesser of two evils.
Wow, that is, I noticed how crafty that was. Well, it works perfectly for him. Chris Harper, by the way, okay, you said he was British, which he is, but I went back and looked. Here's a description of him the first time he's mentioned. Chris Harper was tall, refined, and spoke with the quiet dignity of a European American who still clung proudly to his roots. So European, so it could be, like from Die Hard, one of the Germans or something, like, tuss, that's not how we play the game.
Yes.
So,
or it could be Cousin Larry, Cousin Balky doing a...
Oh, Larry, cousin.
Borat voice, essentially.
Yes, but instead it is, I guess, it says, Harper called out his English accent familiar.
Okay. Why did you
so
say
yes,
European?
that is true. That's European. That is,
all right. But come on.
Not on the. I thought it was continental Europe. It was not.
And so this thing that she does is here's how it plays out when she uses this technique. She accuses him of lying at the press conference. And he's like, and then she says, and also we have proof that you embezzled from NASA. I did no such thing. You're saying you didn't lie about pods? No, I'm saying I bloody well didn't embezzle money. So you're saying you did lie about pods? Harper stared, clearly at a loss for words. So her technique is pretty much the duck season, rabbit season switcheroo. Like, where they...
Yes.
Just rhetorical genius here. This idiot just falls directly for it. When anyone who, in a high enough position would be like, 1 word, security, 2 word, lawyer. I'm not saying anything else to you in this situation.
Instead, he's like immediately got a handkerchief from his back pocket and just sweat pouring off his forehead.
Yeah.
You got me. And then he's trying to think, did I once? Oh, you know what? When I moved, I did take a roll of tape from the supply closet. That's probably what this is about. Damn it. She got me.
Right, because there's nothing illegal probably about lying at a press conference. I mean, marital retention might consider it treason, but you assume that people in the government are lying to you all the time. So I don't think that this is a arrestable offense, really. Maybe fireable, but
yeah, and also like immediately discovery. Like you have to tell the people. Well, why did you lie at this press conference? Well, he told me to.
yes.
Oh, that guy sitting right there. Yes, him. That guy right there.
That guy who is now sweating into his handkerchief.
Yes.
No. But he does sort of call her bluff. He's like, "There's no embezzlement," blah blah blah. But then he folds very quickly and like chases her down the hall and just be like, "Ekstrom, the administrator of NASA, Ekstrom, he's the one who forced me to lie in the press conference." Mm-hmm. End of chapter 88.
Lawrence Ekstrom, by the way, who are you casting as him? I'm casting Liam Neeson.
Okay.
Just kind of like, yes, I'm up here. I've got to do this thing.
I'm still clinging to my accent from my roots proudly.
Yes. You just kind of slightly grizzled.
Yeah.
You know, well, grizzled means you have a beard, right? I always use the word grizzled wrong.
But yeah, especially because he might turn out to be a bad guy, so he could, you know. He
sure seems bad now, but it seems like
too obvious.
I was pulling for you all along, laddie.
It pains me to do this. So in the next chapter, the Delta Force is flying. They describe it as in the Aurora, one of those secret aircraft that nobody was supposed to know existed, but everyone did. So it's like ordering the animal style at In-N-Out. It's secret.
I did send this little section to my friend who is a pilot.
Oh, nice.
And I said, "Is this accurate at all?" And he's many, many, many years a pilot, and he's from the military. And he goes, "I mean, it's just about nobody knows, so he could just say anything." So
sure, okay.
It's like it's a top secret thing, so yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But I do know, I don't think you can fly that close to the Earth, because he said there were 50-foot rooster tails.
Okay.
I think if you fly close to the Earth, tell me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I believe you use up so much fuel, as opposed to, and this is that's the one thing he said, that this was a high altitude plane. So flying low is just something he said it wouldn't do, and I think I thought that too, but that's why.
Nice.
Anyway.
It's because of gravity?
It's just more air resistance, I guess.
Oh, got it,
yeah, so it uses up way, way more fuel. Tell me if I'm right, people who fly planes.
Which people pointed out was already like an issue with his flights to and from this Arctic Circle place at the speeds that he claimed they were doing them.
Yeah.
But the Delta Force is faster than Rachel's plane, so they're waiting to find out where they're going, and they're going to be there waiting for them when they get to wherever they're headed. Mm-hmm. So that's exciting. Delta Force, they're in a very fast plane. They're rooster tailing things. Time to go back to nickel content. Oh, I'm sorry. They introduced the concept of slush hydrogen.
Slush hydrogen, baby. We get a whole bunch of stuff about this. They also say that, like, she talks about her top secret clearance on expander cycle engines are still in the theoretical stage on paper. Nobody's actually testing. That's decades away. So I was just thinking, like, this was written a while ago, so I think you could just buy those on Temu now. Can I get one of those expander cycle engines? Do you want the $3 one or the $5 one?
At airports, they're like, please remove all batteries from smart bags. And if you have any slush hydrogen in your luggage, you will need to take that out and put it in a separate bag as we go through security.
Slush hydrogen.
So she puts forth, so she's gisted about this before. It's a fuel that NASA's been working on because it's so efficient, I guess, that if they were going to go to Mars, this would be what would probably have to power it because it's light enough or something like that.
Yes.
But she says a large rock placed behind one of these slush hydrogen engines would be scalded by a hydrogen-rich blast of exhaust fire coming out at unprecedented temperature. So, for conspiracy theory people out there, we literally have jet fuel being forced to melt something that it's not supposed to be able to melt.
Oh, boy.
So that is a, and when has that ever provided some people with skepticism about major world events? So that's what this all hinges on, is that this secret NASA technology could have been what they used to create this meteor and make it look like it came from space.
Right. And I didn't quite understand, like, did the meteor ever exist, or they made it, like, in a laboratory or something? Took a bunch of fossils?
Well, they said, Toland claimed it could have come from, like, a dead zone in the ocean where there was only one species of something.
Okay.
Something that had never occurred to him as a professional oceanographer until Rachel asked him whether it could have come from the ocean. Then he's like, well, now that you mention it.
Yeah. Okay, here's an example of how great Corky is and how much time we want to spend with this guy. And I'm so glad we are spending flight after flight after flight with this guy.
His underwear's still soaked, by the way.
Yeah, oh man. A ridiculous one, Corky replied, flashing his meteorite sample. Perhaps you forget, these chondrules were irrefutably dated at 190 million years ago. His tone grew patronizing. I'm sorry, there was a little bit of patronizing in there. To the best of my knowledge, Ms. Sexton, 190 million years ago, nobody was running slush hydrogen engines and cryogenic coolers. God, Corky, I'm so glad I'm on these long trips with you.
Yeah, I'm so glad
You
that
seem great.
Nora got ice shoved down her mouth rather than you. That's a real shame. No matter how certain you are of something, and clearly Steve takes pride in his work, but once the unexpected events such as Delta Force killing people using ice bullets and nanobots enters the picture, maybe you just start to doubt that everything's on the up and up in this situation, and that these... like the task you were called here to decide to do is a little more unusual than they initially let on. I mean, I would do that once I fell onto an iceberg and it floated out to sea and I was rescued by a nuclear submarine. I just would be like, this is not a normal day.
Yeah, he's seeing the Delta One guy lining up his target through his, like, oh, that's a guy out there, like, but the chondrules. 7 ice bullets hit him in the chest and he dies. The zinc content.
His tearful wife. What were my husband's last words? Did he mention that he loves me and the children and he'll see us? He'll be waiting for us in the afterlife. Yeah. It was beautiful. That's what he said. It was poetic. It wasn't about chondrules.
Big assumption saying Corky has a wife and children.
Sorry, that's his body pillow is
Yes.
moving its mouth too. Also, we don't forget that there is a burgeoning romance here, because Toland glances over and for an instant, in the muted light of the plane, he saw a softness in Rachel's eyes that reminded him of Celia, his dead ex-wife. Shaking off the memories, he gave her a tired sigh. So he's not met her for more than 12 hours, right? This is probably 9 p.m.
Yeah, he's. I mean, yeah. Thank you very much, but love is not for this guy. He loves his weird-looking boat, and he loves testing, squalus samples in the ocean. But no, I'm sorry, I can never love again. But a woman sits next to him on a military plane for 20 minutes. He's like, oh,
her knees touching mine.
Yes.
Oh God! And he's also wildly persuadable. He says, "I hate to say it, but it's starting to feel like there's more negative evidence than positive." So he's one of those guys that just. I hope a Jehovah's Witness never comes to his door, because he seems very easily persuadable. Like.
All right, chapter 90. After the slush
hydrogen.
Slush. It's my Ogden.
Yeah. What was I saying before? The shaft one was giving me issue too.
Can you say Senator Sexton? Damn it.
Wow, see, it's hard.
It is hard.
It's not even a tongue twister, just the order of it. Well, this first line of 90 says Senator Sexton, so it calls it that more than Sedgewick. Whatever.
It is. It does say that. Yeah, they rarely call him by his full name. Although they will later when he tries to get into his keypad. So we get Marjorie Tench is described off screen because we're in Harper's office, I believe. Mm-hmm. Mr. Harper, I believe that's what he's like, unless he's doing his second press conference. Then he's like, I don't know, the pods with the thing and the working and the not, no. But Marjorie Tench, an awful creature, Harper thought, nodding.
Wow.
Just full out calling her a creature now. So, yeah, a praying mantis, you were not far off on that.
The fanfic, yeah, that's,
yeah.
I don't know, he just flips through his Dungeon and Dragons monster compendium and picks out what ghoul she looks like. Amazing. And you think it would limit her, how far she descend, you know, at some point in time, you have, like, when people are like, he looks presidential, it's like, yeah, you gotta sort of, especially because if she's doing all these in-person things, it's, I guess she was rarely on TV, I don't know.
Yeah, the guy's standing there, he's got the kind of silver hair and, like, the lightly dimpled tie and everything, like, How am I doing, Marjorie? And then she steps in. Ah! Ah! Everyone in the area is like, gee, what the? My God, she has 4 arms. Yeah, it's not pretty.
She skitters everywhere. That's not something that a human being should do. How do you skitter? All right. So he says that, it was his programming that led to the flaw. And Marjorie Tench, why were they talking about her? That she told him that he had. So they fired him, and then she came to him and said, "You'll get your job back if you give your sweaty press conference."
Yes, if you lie.
Found a fix.
Yes. If you lie and say that you found a workaround with your programming for the pods thing, and he was. I guess I didn't realize until now. Like he starts to go like, "Yeah, I really blew it, man. Oh man, I blew it." I didn't do the software right, but they fired me, but she hired me back, and said all you have to do is lie, and say that pods found it, and that's when he reveals that the guy at the beginning of the book,
Brophy,
man,
Brodog,
Brophy. I threw down with Brophy last night. That guy.
Oh no way!
He goes hard, man.
Yeah. I once saw him chugging entire Four Loko before they wussified the formula, man. Yeah. And then he went out like nothing was a problem. I mean, he puked in a swimming pool later that night. He climbed the fence just so he could puke in it. But he's a legend.
Brophy, he did the line at Shenanigans where you drink every beer from the tap within 1 hour, and it didn't even faze him.
Holy crap! So he was fine. He was like sober after doing that.
Oh, he got better. He got more Brophy. Do you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, totally. Brobily. Yeah. But no, Brophy. I was like, I know we talked about him as a Brophy character, but I couldn't remember who he was. So I had to. He's the guy from the prologue whose dogs got kicked into the ditch and died. But so yeah, he's the guy that discovered the thing at the beginning. It wasn't pods. So we move on. To chapter 91, where Toland is still horny. Several minutes ago, she headed to the restroom, and now Toland was surprised to find himself missing her beside him. He'd wondered how long it had been since he'd missed a woman's presence, a woman other than Celia. It's just hard to imagine being horny after Delta forces have tried to kill you. It seems like you got to give it 24 hours or so. I don't know. Fight or flight. Do
you think that it was like someone from the book company, I don't know who published this book, saying like, could these two get together? Like,
yeah, it has to be.
That seems really far-fetched. Maybe on the plane, big red circle on chapter 91. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
Under the note, underwear still soaking, or.
So he calls to his boat, right? Toland.
Yep.
George Clooney calls to his boat, and he gets Xavier.
God.
I think I've got the correct pronunciation there. Respected marine geologist, Xavier had the reputation for speaking her mind with a caustic honesty. So not chaste logic. Okay, got it. Now I know exactly who I'm picturing. Thank you very much.
Yes. Yeah. She is essentially like the rest of the crew went abandoned the ship and went to party because they were so pumped with your announcement and you playing a role in it. She says that she's still there because she's agreed to babysit this antediluvian wreck of yours, which I had to Google, but it has come up.
I knew you were going to pull out antediluvian.
This is the third time it's been in one of our books.
Yes.
That's crazier than Long Fingers. It showed up in Edison's Conquest of Mars and The Lair of the White Worm.
Oh, I would have thought, what was the old novel?
Irene Isley?
Irene Isley.
No, but those are both old novels. I mean, those are from the 1800s, so like...
Antediluvian. That is an old word. I'm surprised your professor didn't say in flagranta delicto along with antediluvian.
Yeah, he was a history guy. He wasn't, or government. He wasn't an English teacher. But yeah, so she's sassy. She says, you know what they say about us geologists? We're always looking for faults.
Ugh. And before that, she says, here's where I was like, okay, she's caustic honesty I can handle. That's fine. She seems okay. She seems like the one who pulled the meteorite out of the shaft, but whatever.
Oh, sure.
I'm sure she's a different person. I had to be the first to tell you that you made a boo-boo in your documentary. Yes, you heard me. A rare Michael Tolan brain fart.
Oh, that is caustic.
I am 100% out. Like, if you say that and you're not kidding or being like, I'm just like, hey, sorry, man, we can't be friends.
No, it's not. This is
you haven't called me in a while. Yeah, you said brain fart the last time I saw you, so sorry, man. That's just a policy. Yeah. That is just our policy here at michaeljnelson.com.
And you followed it up with the geologists were always looking for faults joke. So that's just, even if I was unclear about the brain fart boo-boo, it's...
Yeah, sorry.
She says that what he says is a minuscule point about meteorite petrology, but you might get a call or two about it. So, again, it's the sort of thing that she admits she noticed right away. Anyone else who knows what they're talking about it will probably notice it. And that's what's going to be the headlines when people are like... So, other geologists, can we trust the government? No, they made a huge error. Okay, well, that's the big story now. Like, you idiots who thought you could, whatever they're faking here, they thought they could do.
And he's troubled by it. He's like, oh, boy. So he goes over to, is it Rachel? Yes, he talks about that. Like, that's, I don't know, I guess I made a mistake. So, okay, then he fills her in. And then, do we really have to go through this one by one? Corky came over, rubbing his eyes. What's going on? Tolan filled him in. Like, could you all let's just wake everyone up. Say what she just told me. Then we don't have to keep doing this.
A life and death situation. Maybe we should stop falling asleep, too. Like,
what's going on? I assume he's just like, his pants are around his knees and he's...
got the eye mask on that he's... He has zinc oxide on his nose for some reason. Corky, we're not getting a suntan.
Corky, you're eating a lobster roll. It is? Oh!
Now he's really green. And then they decide that they're going to go to Tolan's lab because Xavier stops picking up the phone because he's getting too many calls from journalists.
Xavier, who they call, their word, not mine, a bitch.
Wow, I don't think anyone's even described Marjorie Tench as that yet.
No, she's just a creature. This is
Oh. All right, so 92 is a Delta Force is in a silent black helicopter. The conspiracy theorists were going nuts over these. So conspiracy theorists do exist in this world, but we don't get their reaction to the meteor announcement. But I would have appreciated that.
Yes, and the fact that the black helicopters exist and cause people distress is, another reason for Ekstrom to go, I have to laugh. We actually have black helicopters, you idiots.
Yeah, once again says that the military likes people thinking they're wrong about all these sort of things. So, it's a short chapter. They're gearing up for some major action now. We go back to Gabrielle talking to Harper. He talks about how Brophy put out a distress signal when the storm rolled in when he found the thing on a really low frequency because of the storm. and NASA heard it and was coming to rescue him, but someone got there first. And he says they found Harper's body in that gulch, and he was dead. He fell off a cliff. Because of the storm.
Harper asks her, he goes, "Are you familiar with a program called Inspire?" And this is my own thought. Like, yeah, I am. Please don't give me the interactive NASA space physics. God. Yes, I am. You didn't give me a chance to stop you. Just pour on some EVOO. That's extra virgin olive oil. Yes. Yes.
Oh. Has she been on TV for like 20 years?
She's not gone away.
You loathe that tick. So
she's making pet food now. She's like a pet food magnate.
Oh my God. Those pet food commercials where it's like, your dog deserves to eat better than you sack of garbage. What are we doing? I think it would pain me to look up how much some of those things cost. The farmer's dog. How much do you think those cost?
Well, I assume as much as human food or more.
Yeah, it has to be.
God. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, and then she says, "Oh, so you really think that sled dogs would just run off a cliff?" And so Harper goes white again. He's like, "You think they killed him over this?" Like, so like, she's just like, it's the opposite of Air Bud. Like, there's no dog would ever run off a cliff. It's like, okay, dog expert all of a sudden. You've got a PhD in sled dogs, and you're working in DC. Anyway, that was her tell that they that this hadn't happened naturally.
Yeah, she does she suddenly snaps into Sherlock Holmes. "Do you have dogs, Dr. Harper?" "I'm sorry." Do you have dogs? Because it's odd that the sled dogs would run into the crevasse. As I said, I don't have, so I don't know whether that's strange or not. Oh, actually, I don't know either. I just said it. Sounded smart or weird or whatever. So they might, and I guess in a whiteout, yeah, they would, of course.
Yeah, sure, yeah. And you didn't let me finish. You didn't let me answer, but I do have a dog. It's a wiener dog, so I really have no knowledge about how sled dogs behave, whether they would run off a cliff or not. It's not. Most people don't. Most people are not mushers, so they don't.
Yeah, I can't even get mine to go to the bathroom outside, so I don't know. You're asking the wrong guy. I'm sorry, you're asking the wrong guy.
Chapter 94. They are going to Gassack, which is a airport they can land at and then transfer yet again to Toland's lab. So this just seems like more of an excuse for Dan Brown to describe types of vehicles they'll be traveling in.
Yes, and also that he loves that they're on an unsecured phone line. So they get to do like, please do not say anything that might incriminate us on this line, which is probably being listened to.
Yes.
Like, okay, I own a large collection of body pillows. I just told you, please don't say anything that might incriminate you. I like to paint lead action figures and recreate Civil War battles. Oh, damn it. Stop doing this.
Me and Michael's underwears have dried, but Corky's is still soaked for some reason. Well, would you not say that on the unsecured line, lady?
Guys on helicopters across the country going like, "Oh, come on.
Come on, Corky. Have some dignity. Come on, we're rooting for you." But she is talking to Pickering and telling him that. And he drops "You've made some powerful enemies tonight.
Yes.
Take appropriate caution." So it's again, if these powerful enemies accomplish their goal, this will be the situation. There will have been a world-famous guy who made a documentary about the find. Yeah, he will have been killed within hours. The candidate for president's daughter will have also been killed, as well as several other civilian scientists who no one's ever heard of, all related to directly, verifiably to this discovery. They get killed, and then people are just going to be like, weird. The rock's probably real.
Yeah.
I mean, what was the guy who they found in his car that they suspected of the Clintons? Vincent Foster? I mean, that was just a guy no one had heard of before that, and then they're like, well, that proves all this stuff, so I'm pretty sure that this type of conspiracy might have some a longer tail than these people who are trying to bump them off might think, because that's something that haunted them for 8 years.
Yes. Also, she says on the unsecured line, she tries to think of and she goes like, how about gas ack? So no one else would know? She said it's a completely open, the most unsecure line in the world. So just like some guy in his house could be listening on his radio, right? Mm-hmm. And she's
his
like,
police scanner.
Gassack. And everyone's like, oh, they're going to Gassack.
Huh, Gassack.
But he's like, wow, quick thinking. We only do that inside I don't think so. Anyway.
Yeah. It's obscure NRO gisting shorthand is how they describe that.
Okay.
Group Air Station Atlantic City. So I mean Atlantic City, they're like, okay, well, yeah, it's probably, you could probably suss that out if you were really devoted to the cause. Next we get 95. We get a lengthy flashback to 2 months ago in a presidential cabinet meeting where some budget items are hammered out. So if your pulse wasn't pounding during the nickel discussions and the Condrules, then you could really we could really have it happen here.
This was this is full Star Wars universe. Like let's cut to a cabinet meeting that doesn't really have any bearing, but this is all a flashback from Pickering, right?
Pickering, who hates NASA because of his daughter's death.
Pickering. So it cuts to a meeting, and there's like 5 pages of them at a meeting, and there's a lot of like guys standing up and going, "Listen, Larry." All of a sudden, first names come out. Like, I own a Dodge Charger. You can't talk to me this way.
Right. Yeah, you got the Trade Federation guys being like, "Oh, the Trade Federation will be boxed." Yes, like Watto is there for some reason. Be like,
don't listen to them. I know a guy who can get you a better deal.
Oh, yeah, the kids love him. That's what they want. Jar Jar wanders in and gets his nose stuck in a drink cart somehow. Like, oh, Jar Jar.
Oh, no, look at what I do.
That would be much better if any of those characters are here. But it pretty much just flashes back to them being like, "What if we put NASA in the CIA? What would his budget do then?" I don't know. That's what Pickering is remembering as he's driving to the FDR Memorial to meet Marjorie Tench. And he, as he approached the exit for D.C., he passed a bloody deer lying dead by the side of the road. He felt an odd hesitation, but he kept driving. So that's just he just sees a bad omen as he's driving along.
And then we get 96 get a long description of the Franklin Delano Roosevelt Memorial.
Yeah,
one of the largest memorials in the nation. Is that true?
I mean,
it must be. I guess.
Yeah, it's outdoors. When it opened up soon after it, my close family friends, one of their daughters got a picture in the paper for playing in one of the fountains, and a security guard was telling her to get out.
Okay.
That's my only exposure. I don't know that I've been there other than that.
In the nation, so
sure.
We were just at Rushmore.
Okay.
So bigger than that?
It's probably not. No, but
okay. Well, whatever.
What?
Anyway, this whole chapter is about the Delta Force is going to murder them.
Okay.
Murder.
And it's
they're looking at the city. Yes,
Yes,
it is good.
They have the enormous Hellfire missiles. And their thought here is that explosions, fire, and smoke made it appear you were making a statement, and the first thoughts would be foreign terrorism, especially when the target was a high-profile official. Do you remember what technology they spent seemingly a disproportionate amount of the early part of the book talking about?
Oh, which one? Zinc or
No. The military technology, the nanobots that were.
The nanobots. They spent a long time on the nanobots that could surveil.
They could surveil. They could kill without a trace. No one would ever see them. But they're pretty much taking out a bazooka here to do this because they think that since terrorists buy these on the black market, then people will blame terrorists for this incident that's about to happen. So they're not trying to remain discreet about this at all.
I skipped over a Sonic challenge, but I don't want to lose it because it's a good one. It was from the last chapter. Forgive me.
All right.
Bill, Marjorie Tench interrupted as if sensing Pickering was about to explode. Do you have chapter 95?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Yeah.
Okay. We know you lost a child. We know this is a personal issue for you. Pickering heard nothing but condescension in her tone.
God.
Go, baby.
So she's not only sensing that he's about to explode, but she's nothing but condescension.
Yes. So you only have to read her. You
And
don't
it's
have
Marjorie Tench.
It's Marjorie Tench.
Okay.
Sonic Challenge. Here we go.
Bill, we know you lost a child. We know this is a this is a personal issue for you.
Wow. I heard nothing but condescension in your
Yeah,
tone.
that's nothing but it.
No, nothing else stood out to me at all.
I was turning into a dragon for that.
Wow, that was good. BJ?
Probably-
The dirty dragon?
The dirty dragon. Very dirty dragon. Hey, I got a dirty dragon. Yeah, come and take you back to my horde, baby. All right. So that's them planning the missile attack. And they do it.
They do it, but we don't know who they kill.
Correct.
That seems really like, oh, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like the cheat where, they do this in movies where the FBI or something is, breaking into a home where, like, the serial killer is, holed up in his basement, and then it's like, there's no one here. The house is empty. Like, well...
Yeah, they were cutting to things. They're cutting to the
they're
killer.
cutting, like, directly where we're used to the language of, and then, like, ha-ha, we fooled you, different house.
Yeah.
Like, okay, morning DJ. Yeah, you did fool me because that's the language of film.
They blown up a car. We don't know if it was Marjorie Tench's car, Pickering's car, unrelated. But who knows? These guys don't seem to be good. Are they going to turn? Who knows? 97. Oh God, it's back to the people on the plane. It's so tiresome. Corky's. They're getting off at Gazak, which sounds like a Corky, like Gazak.
Gazak. Corky's
getting out. Yeah.
Corky wakes up. He's like, oh, I'm asleep and I pooped myself. Oh. And then Corky's slumped. Already? No dinner? Stop. Oh, Corky.
And you'll remember that in the first real or fanfic, there's a scene where Corky is urinating all over himself to repel sharks or something. So we have that to look forward to.
Yeah,
too.
we
That
do
somehow
have that.
has not happened yet. And we still don't really know what context that's happening in. But Toland was pressed close beside her in the narrow fuselage, his hips and shoulders touching hers. Neither made any attempt to shift positions. So nice. Yeah, very nice. No one showered in a long time. And yeah, everyone.
My limbs are in quite a bit of pain right now. Yeah.
But they're on a helicopter taking him out to his boat, and the pilot recognizes him and is like fanboying out because they were all watching his show back in the thing, and he drew the short straw, but now he's excited. But then he says, "Oh, we're going to your boat, the Twin Hole, right? Strange-looking beast. I've never actually been on a swath design. I never dreamed yours would be first." So I looked that up. So it sort of looks like a pontoon boat. It's just got like two things. And then there's something in the middle.
It's sort of like is it a catamaran? Kind
Looks
of.
sort of like that too. More of a industrial boat on there, like a platform on it. But
Man, that is so strange. I haven't seen that ever, except, the hundreds of times I've seen something sort of similar and can easily comprehend it.
The main boat anyone can walk into a marina and rent, That's sort of what it looks like. Just designed for science instead of drinking 30 beers on.
So, by the way, the pilot, he's quoted, I guess he talks a long time. This is like your bus driver where you're just like, oh, boy.
Yeah.
I was once on a shuttle where the guy was talking, and I turned to the people next to me. I'm like, is he talking to us? Because he's just like, yeah, my boss came into my office, and we're like, am I supposed to, why don't you listen for a while? But he goes, the documentary was fantastic. The networks keep playing it over and over. The networks. None of tonight's duty pilots wanted this gig because everyone wanted to keep watching television. But I drew the short straw. That's our military? They don't want to do their missions. They want to sit in and watch back-to-back documentaries on network television? So they're seeing, like, 7 minutes of drug commercials? Yeah. Reducent. Works to... Your elbows can be shown in public now. They're like, I can't wait till he comes back, that Tolan guy, man.
Yeah, and so the networks are re-showing the documentary instead of having any sort of more speculation or break more things that are breaking about this. They're not cutting to the car bomb blowing up at the FDR Memorial, and they're just showing the same 15-minute thing. I guess there was nowhere else to watch it then, though. You couldn't go on YouTube.
Yeah. Thursday night football is just going like, I guess we're I guess we're done.
We're just going to cut to Joe Flacco showing the documentary on his little tablet he shows on the sidelines. Because how do we compete with back-to-back showings otherwise? He's just going to hold it up to the camera. John Madden's got the telestrator on the documentary. Now see what Michael Tolan did here, you see.
So to ram this romance in here, they talk about how weird the boat is, but then Rachel smiled softly. Well, as my mom used to say, sooner or later we've all we've all got to let go of our past. Tolan's eyes held hers for a long moment. Yeah, I know. It's like, I just imagine like a Hallmark executive reading it and going like, ooh, yeah, I don't think so. We wouldn't. Yeah. This seems really sugary. I wouldn't do this.
Rachel's like, you know what? Do I know about your wife? I'm unclear about, I don't know your entire backstory. You are famous, but like, what are you? You're still looking me in the eye as I'm talking. That's off-putting.
It was a really long time. I can only hold eye contact.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's off-putting. Please. Now I'm moving my leg away from you. I was not moving it before, but I am now.
Yep. I'm going to go to the bathroom again.
So that's him letting go of his dead wife, and so I'm sure she's pleased with how unceremonious that moment was.
Yeah.
It's like, I was driving back and forth from San Diego to the La Brea for all these years, and that's how quickly you let me go? Anyway. We then cut to Gabrielle in the next chapter, who's stuck in traffic in a taxi because of the FDR Memorial explosion.
Because someone launched a missile at a car at the FDR Memorial, which, people around there must have gone like, well, used to be one of the safest places in town. Now there are Hellfire missiles being shot willy-nilly.
Look, up until today, no one had ever been blown up by a Hellfire missile there. So that's you got to play with the odds. That's what the NASA guys would say. You don't know about the nickel content they use in the statue of FDR, though. So we got to examine that.
Striations, baby, chondrules.
Can Hellfire missiles melt chondrules? That's our question. And they already are calling it a car bomb on the terrorism. I'm not sure which D-level terrorist is driving a car bomb out to this, as we've said before, under-attended national monument, blowing it up at 10 p.m. at night when no one will be there. Not their best and brightest, perhaps, but hey, all the terrorists can't be winners.
That's true. Chapter 99, the controller comes in, the unnamed controller.
The androgynous toned controller?
Exactly who I'm talking about, comes in and just, this is like one of those things like, hey, we're pretty far into this book. Could you just tell us again what's going on? The controller's like, here's what happened so far. You were supposed to do this, but this happened. You were supposed to kill Brophy. But you didn't, you killed Brophy, but then you messed up on the other ones. Now we've got this thing, and now people are beginning to suspect. And then he goes away.
Yes.
Thank you. I just came in to give you the plot so far, and I'm gone now.
It's implied that they're stroking their white cat in their lap as they're having these recollections, I guess.
The controller. The cat's like, your tone is very androgynous. I need to know, male or female?
Throwing an innocent geologist from a helicopter had been the beginning. Now things were unraveling fast. It's like, yeah, you just didn't plan this one out from the start, I would say. You gotta do this better next time you're using an insertion shaft, I would say.
Oh, that's right. They brought Brophy onto the helicopter with his dogs.
Yes.
And then threw him out like sausages into a pan, like our last...
Right. That's what the sausages were.
Yes, yeah.
Wow. Maybe that will be the tip-off. No dog would ever look like a sausage when it ran off a cliff.
That's right.
Any dog owner would know that. And then 100, where this is the last chapter of the reading, but it does have some pretty nuts cliffhangers to end on.
Oh, my
which
God.
I deeply appreciated.
Yes.
They're flying out to Toland's weird-looking boat. But Toland is like, hey, do you have a thermal imaging on this thing? And the guy's like, yeah, but we don't need it. He's like, do me a favor and turn it on. He's like, you'll never see anything using it. Would you just switch on the damn thermal imaging? He switches it on, and then, holy shit! The helicopter lurched momentarily as the pilot recoiled in surprise and then recovered, staring at the screen. So he's such a strong reaction to what he sees that this hardened military pilot like jerks the control enough that it causes it to go into a nosedive, but they fortunately recover. So,
sir, how long have you been flying this?
Brightest.
Yeah, how long have you been flying this? Like, today's my first day, sir. Like, oh, jeez.
He turns around. Yeah. Oh, I'm not very good at this, Corky. How did you get the controls of this thing?
Somehow I'm up there now. Oh. Yeah, but also like him yelling from the back seat, like I can't imagine doing that to a military. I've occasionally come in contact with military things. I once got a tour of a military base. I'm not going like, what does this do? Do you guys got Dolby Digital on this thing? Be like, I will snap you in half right now. Stop saying this stuff.
Yeah, there's always the kind of guy on the tour who wants to ask the tour guide questions, but really just state a fact and then ask them if that's true. You know what I mean? Just to let them know that they know what they're talking about.
Performative questions, yes.
That's what Toland seems to be. That's what he probably thought Toland was doing here. But so what they're seeing are it's essentially a mega plume.
Yes.
So there's a mega plume happening, and it's a underwater cyclone of warm water currents, and so that's what shows up on the digital monitoring. So that's what they see.
They spin because of like undersea, like volcanic action. Not volcanic. Sorry, he makes magma things or something.
Yes, rogue pockets of magma.
And then Rachel says this because she's afraid of water.
Oh, right.
Here's a sentence a human being would say. Rachel did not laugh. Mike, you didn't mention this mega plume magma dome hot current situation. Oh, my God. He gets further away from her.
Mega plume and magma dome sound like Corky noises. Mega plume, magma dome! And then here's the big reveal right now that Michael's ship is there because of the mega plume. It's not a coincidence because the mega plume attracts. And he does this way.
Svirna
Makarin.
Makarin?
So he gives the Latin name of what it attracts. When she's like, "All right, what are Spira Makarin?" And he doesn't even answer. He says, "The ugliest fish in the sea." Flounder? So boom! Flounders are just getting roasted.
Flounders are like, hey, man.
Catching strays up in the helicopter. And then he says, no. Hammerhead sharks. And so there is a massive swarm of hammerhead sharks. Every shark in the sea has been attracted to this mega plume. So they're swarming around his boat. So it's pretty much the original Sharknado is happening underneath the weird-looking boat.
Yeah, and I felt like they were starting a Abbott and Costello routine, right, kids? But no, Rachel stiffened beside her. You've got hammerhead sharks around your boat? Tolan winked. Relax, they're not dangerous. You wouldn't say that unless they were dangerous.
God.
And then the pilot, a couple sentences down, gets in on the skit. Hold on, Rachel said. You said you hadn't saved anyone's in decades. Yeah, the pilot replied. Saved anyone. Usually we're too late. Those bastards kill in a hurry. No.
Sir, I should just, maybe you weren't briefed on this, but we were shot with ice bullets, and one of our colleagues was murdered earlier tonight. We all thought we were going to die. We came to peace with it as we passed out from hypothermia on a glacier, and then we were only rescued because a nuclear submarine happened to be nearby. So the joking about the hammerhead sharks isn't really called for at the moment. Just putting it out there.
Also, please try to be more of a hardened military guy. Stop getting into our skits when we're doing stupid things. I didn't say they were dangerous. Oh, good. They're not dangerous. I just said they'd kill you. Ow.
Would you? Oh. All right, so that's where it ends. We have been promised. If you, I mean, I guess there was the sharks were in the peeing on himself skit or real fanfic earlier, but of all the things this book did not need, a massive swarm frenzy of sharks really seems like you're gilding the lily. Is that the expression? Like
it is.
We did not need. Why would we need that? You have Delta forces who can assassinate us with Hellfire missiles.
Yeah.
It seems like sharks is just going in like the axe cop direction at this point in time.
and then like a big tornado of sharks.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's it. We get to finish up and find out how those sharks come into the play, whether they get to eat anybody. Hopefully they get to Delta Force for lunch. But we can wrap it up with the dumb sentences.
Dumb, 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 dumb sentence of the week.
All right, here is a lengthy list of dumb sentences of the week because, as you said before, this is longer than Leo Tolstoy novellas, and so there's quite a bit to pick from.
Twice as long, almost twice as long as Ayn Rand's Anthem. Not quite as. Don't look that
Ayn
up.
Rand. I mean, you could squint at her. She could be kind of Marjorie Tench-ish, right? I mean,
well, she was wee though, right? I was thinking of more like her, like mother, mommy,
okay,
mommy. Isn't she sort of? She looks like
Ayn Rand is an interesting looking person for sure.
Doesn't she look like the one in the what's the Pixar cartoon about the family, The Incredibles?
Uh-huh.
Doesn't she look like the one who designs their costumes?
Oh, I don't know. I've not
Kind
seen
of
that.
big glasses. Okay.
Anyway,
dumb sentences.
Okay, dumb sentences. The first one is by Chap. As suspicious as the meteorite evidence was, the meteorite appeared to be authentic. He says, there are some English words that can zip by and fail to register, so I understand how they might sneak into a sentence twice. Meteorite is not one of those words. And there's only 11 other words in the sentence. Where is the editor? How about this one? George and Jay both submitted. Ekstrom could think of no one on Earth against whom he'd less rather match wits than William Pickering. George said, marvelous sentence structure, simply marvelous. And Jay said, I think you could maybe argue this is grammatical, but still, just rewrite it. Josh submitted Corky saying, I'm airborne with idiots. And he said, my sentiments exactly. Edward submitted this one that we discussed. Chris Harper was tall, refined, and spoke with the quiet dignity of a European American who still clung proudly to his roots. And he just said, which roots? The European ones? The American ones? Is he proud of being Scottish or Texan? Somehow I know less about this man than if Dan had left this part out. Cameron and Janelle both submitted, nobody was supposed to die except the Canadian. That's Brophy. Brophy was Canadian. Mm-hmm. Mike submitted, as he watched, Senator Sexton fell to his knees in front of the television, his fingers clutching at his silver mane. And Mike offers this as if he thinks we know what he's talking about. My first thought was of The Mummy Returns, and a similar ridiculous scene, which coincidentally also came out in 2001, a very good year for this cliche. So if you have a knowledge of the scene of The Mummy Returns where the guy falls to his knees, you can think about that.
I do not have that.
I didn't think you'd have it right at your fingertips. But Harrison submitted, several minutes ago, she'd headed to the restroom, and now Toland was surprised to find himself missing her beside him. He said he was surprised that he missed the hot woman who was clearly interested in him and presumably waiting for him in the restroom. Unless, of course, number 2, Rachel is totally blowing up the can. That's, you might have some of that going on. Didn't specify how the underwear was soaked.
Yeah, this this plane isn't that loud. Can hear a lot going on back there.
Curtis and Mike both submitted this. This was about the president's, the lighting of the president's main press conference. The dramatic lighting made the setting look like some kind of neo-modern painting. The 12 Apostles at the Last Supper. It says, while the Last Supper has been the subject of numerous paintings, the majority of them, including arguably the most famous one, which would figure significantly in Dan Brown's next novel, are decidedly not neo-modern. Yes. And Mike said, I don't think you could name check a less neo-modern painting than the Last Supper when trying to evoke an image of neo-modern painting. It's almost impressive. Jackson submitted, none of tonight's duty pilots wanted this gig because everyone wanted to keep watching television, but I drew the short straw. Amanda submitted, the Coast Guard Group Air Station Atlantic City is located in a secure section of William J. Hughes Federal Aviation Administration Technical Center at the Atlantic City International Airport. And she said something I agreed with. She said, the sentences in this book are very dumb, but I think the dumbness of the plot / characters is standing out to me more than the individual sentences. I sort of agree with that. But, I mean, then you get sentences like the one she submitted. So,
Yes.
Blake submitted, the question now was whether this shark was an innocent bystander or a player. That's not referring to the sharks that are become a plot point. That's referring to, I forget who, but one of the deceitful politicians. And Blake
Wow.
said,
Yeah, that's
the question was whether the shark was an innocent bystander. And he says, yes, that famous innocent bystander, sharks. Alex submitted, scientists have always believed space, if it were populated, would be populated by insects. And Alex said, this is the kind of sentence I would expect to see in Moon People or Caleb's Dream, not a book written by the Da Vinci Code guy. Craig submitted, Rachel had forgotten about the orientation striations on the meteorite. And Craig said, I'll admit so did I, but my excuse is I'm reading a book by Dan Brown, and whatever he wrote about orientation striations on a meteorite was so unmemorable, I'm pretty sure anyone reading Deception Point would not remember it. It's like that line in Setting Up a Room. I hadn't noticed that pegboard. Alejandro says he was already dreading all the cartoons in tomorrow's paper. That's the Senator Sedgewick. He says, Senator, we all roll our eyes at Family Circus and Kathy sometimes, but it shouldn't keep you up at night. Tiff submitted, Senator Sexton huddled alone on his couch, feeling like a refugee. Ben submitted, waiting as long as she possibly could until the door was only inches from closing. Gabrielle lunged forward and caught the door handle with just inches to spare. Scott submitted, you tried to bluff a rocket scientist. And he said, rocket scientists are known for being intellectually gifted, not good at interpersonal interactions, right? The stereotype is that they're good at facts, not bluffing. Scott, a.k.a. Sir Baron Lord von Vaderham, submitted everything weighs less underwater from their discussion about crustaceans. And he says, I get what Brown's getting at, but sentences like this enrage me as a physicist. Nothing weighs less underwater. There's just a buoyancy force opposing gravity to offset it. And then he wrote something like several more paragraphs about the issue that hopefully he also sent to Andy Weir regarding Mars gravity.
Yeah, okay, good.
Nathan submitted, Tench's old cold eyes stared as she held out a spider-like hand. He says, out of curiosity, I looked up what a spider hand would look like. I found this. Arachnodactyl, also known as spider fingers, is a rare condition that causes abnormally long and slender fingers and toes.
Yes. Officially in our book. Can we stamp? We have to stamp this as another one.
Yes, officially 372 approved, contains long fingers. It's like a supplement. We can put our guarantee on the outside.
It's like a children's book at a library where you put the Newbery Award or whatever.
Yeah,
on the
right.
front,
Yeah,
like-
we need to get an embossed sticker for people to decorate theirs with. Hayden submitted as he approached the exit for D.C. He passed a bloody deer lying dead by the side of the road. And he said this sentence essentially functions the same as "it was a dark and stormy night." And Harris says, Gabrielle's plan for dealing with Harper was something Sexton called overshooting, an interrogation technique invented by the early Roman authorities to coax confessions from criminals they suspected was lying. He said, just explain what overshooting is instead of giving a long preamble to show off knowledge that is probably apocryphal at best. I doubt the Romans were the first that came up with lie to a suspect. So yeah, he accuses Dan Brown of doing what we just talked about with the guy on the tour guide, being like, hey, did the Romans ever use overshooting, the technique of getting a suspect to confess by bringing up a more serious crime? Yes, sir, the Romans did do that.
That's an interesting point. Technically, they did, yes.
I have one we didn't talk about. It's rubidium strontium dating is not something you can fake. Okay.
Wow,
I'll take your word on that.
That is Dan Brownian. Mine is, again, I'll just say it again. Can you say public stoning? I can, technically can, but I won't, and I shouldn't.
Yes.
What are you talking about?
Maybe he just finished reading The Lottery or something. Maybe that's probably shorter than this section was, too.
Oh, wow. Let's look up the law. I'm sure it was, right?
Oh, for sure.
There was when I grabbed the word counts on those, a Shirley Jackson book was on that.
All right.
So I'm sure it was shorter.
Well, we've got another similar length section next time to finish the damn book, and we got Sharknadoes, we got reveals,
We got
who
Corky
blew up the
whizzing
thing.
on himself.
Yes,
Crazy.
right. We've got to see how that impacts things. So
Yeah.
things to look forward to, for me at least.
Yes. Thanks, everyone.